So here we are, another milestone episode. Who fucking Ray? One could argue that getting to 400 episodes means that you've accomplished more than ECW Hardcore, Degrassi The Next Generation, My Three Sons, Heartbeat, Dallas, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Bob the Fucking Builder, NCIS, Knots Landing, Mary Hartman, The Weakest Link, Family Guy, America's Got Talent, Grey's Anatomy, and everyone's favorite Mexican program, Carusel. Honorable mention to Japan's own Sergeant Frog. It's probably about some disgraced military guy from Quebec. Fucking frogs. One could say it takes determination, perseverance, dedication, the ability to rise above the fray. Pfft, fuck that. You know what it takes to get to 400 episodes? The fact that dick and fart jokes never stop being funny. Why else do you think Kevin Smith still has a career? Anyway, thanks for joining us on the journey of somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,200 hours of questionable content. If you started now and went back, that's 50 consecutive 24-hour days you'd need to catch up. Better make some popcorn. And bring lube. I'd tell you to bring tissues, but you probably already have some in your clutch. Thanks for listening. Now fuck off.
This podcast is brought to you by Atlantic Broadband. We're fucking shit.
Yes. Yes, they are. All right, so I'm guessing she's entertained you enough. Should we just start this and hopefully get through as much of it as we can before something, possibly my phone explodes at this point?
Sure. Okay, sure. Cool.
All right, so what's up, everyone? This is the SML Podcast. I'm your host, Joe, joining as usual, Cole. Cole, how are you today?
I'm alive!
Which
Yay.
is better than my internet connection is doing. Yes.
You're having technical difficulties, and so you are pretending you are me when I used to use the phone to record the show.
My issues are far beyond internet issues, but yes, internet issues specifically today are a big problem. But we're not alone. We are being joined by Dave Miller and Jon Wingrove of Runner Duck Games. How are you guys doing today?
Hello, we're very well, thanks. Very good, thanks.
They sound so tearful after listening to my nonsensical stories for 25 minutes.
Yeah, seriously. We should explain the audio quality is a little different this episode because I'm recording through my phone, of all things, because Atlantic Broadband can eat every dick on the planet, I guess.
Do you know how exciting it is for me to be the one that sounds good for a change?
Well, you're still going through my cell phone, so...
Shit! I'm glad to see that new mic is really paying off.
Yeah. Oh, so Dave and Jon, you guys are here to talk about your brand new game, Bomber Crew. For those who don't know what this game is, give us the sales pitch.
Okay, the elevator pitch is it's FTL in a World War II bomber. But it's a bit different to that because unlike FTL, it's 3D. And it's sort of based around a physics simulation of this World War II bomber, specifically a Lancaster bomber, which was the most famous British heavy bomber in World War II. And the idea is you start off in at RAF Woodbridge, which is a little quaint air base in England, and you have to recruit your crew from civilians. And then you train them, you equip them, and then you send them off on incredibly dangerous bombing missions over Western Europe. And you'll probably get attached to them, and they will definitely die. And then, yeah, that's kind of it.
So people are going to die.
Yeah.
But they're so adorable, and then you feel bad when they die. You're like, no, not.
They really are adorable. Why did you create such adorable characters for your game if they're all just going to die horrible deaths?
Because we wanted to make a game where what you did matters. So there was a game back when I was a kid called Cannon Fodder. I don't know if you had it in the States, but it was just a little sort of point and click shooter game where you had similarly little adorable style characters. But when you got them, they all had names. They had individual names. And so everyone at school would have had the same little group of characters. There was one called Jules and one called Drops. And if you could keep them alive throughout the whole game. But everyone eventually lost Jules or they lost Drops. And it was such a traumatic experience. It was one of my sort of most memorable game playing experiences from when I was a kid. So we wanted to make something where you actually cared about the characters, you know. You can't just respawn your characters, they're dead. You have to recruit more ones, you know.
Gotcha. You mentioned it's similar to FTL. What kind of comparisons could people draw between the two games?
So it's a crew management game where you, instead of a spaceship, you obviously get this World War II bomber. And it's done from a perspective where we cut away half of the bomber so you can see the sort of goings on inside. And it's really about managing your crew, telling them which station to occupy, what system to go and fix, because the bomber has all its systems simulated. So it has a hydraulic system, it has electrics, it has oxygen supply, and all these things can be critical to keep working. So yeah, so it's kind of like FTL because you're sort of clicking on the screen and telling you're working out which crew member should fix what or attend to what crisis. Yeah, that's kind of...
Yeah, it's more, you never fly the bomber yourself, you're telling your crew what to do, essentially. You're kind of, it's a bit like real-time strategy in a restricted space.
So how do you strike the balance between making a game where you have that kind of a strategy element in such a small space without turning it into a field of micromanaging where you're like, oh, you know, you have to watch everybody's oxygen and body temperature versus, you know, just really, I guess what I'm trying to say is how do you like find what kind of aspects to weed out to manage as opposed to what you leave in?
Okay. And I think that really came through playtesting it. So when we developed it, we got the system as we could so that making the content we could play through and see if it was a bit too heavy on a particular aspect of micromanaging. And also when you play it, so there's a phase before you go on a mission where you can train your crew. So you might train a couple of your crew to be paid, and so they'll be much reviving down. But you can also equip your bomber for approaches. So you might not, for instance, you might not want to keep on reloading during a mission. So you have 4 gun turrets on the bomber, and if they run out of ammo, you have to replenish them by going to this sort of ammo in the middle of the aircraft. And if you're flying on a mission where you expect a lot of enemy fighter resistance, you might want to install ammo feeds. So they automatically get reloaded from the ammo crate. So you, I mean, if you sort of stumble blindly into it, you can end up micromanaging stuff. But there's upgrades that let you decide how you want to play, and they kind of alleviate some aspects of the micromanagement.
I guess the other half is when we were designing it, there were certain things that we had in earlier, and there'd always just be one response to it. Oh, this has happened. You've got to do that, and that's not much fun when there's one thing you've got to do when something happens. So you always just end up having to do it. We kind of wanted to make sure all the things you were doing were always a choice. So anywhere where something happens and you've got to react to it, but there's several different ways of doing it, that's really where the gameplay comes in, rather than they're just, oh, this is the one way you do that. So it's about creating choice for the player.
Yeah, so an example of that would be engine fires. So you can, so if your engine gets shot, it can start a fire, and if you leave the fire burning for too long, the engine will fall off. And so, have you seen the film Memphis Belle?
No, I haven't.
Great film. Okay, it's a really good film about a B-17 bomber in World War II, which is the big American heavy bomber. And there's a scene in it where they get an engine fire, they perform this emergency dive to put the fire out, so they're sort of diving closer and closer to Earth, watching the flames sort of gradually flicker out. And then when the flames finally go out, they pull up, and it's all very exciting. And in Bomber Crew, if you get an engine fire, you can tackle it with an emergency dive. But obviously, you might have spent a lot of fuel climbing to a high altitude, and you might be trying to climb over an upcoming hazard. So there might be flak at sort of medium, and so you want to lose your altitude. And so you can actually install fire extinguishers inside the engines, which can be operated from the engineer's station. So that's just an example of there's two ways to tackle this engine fire. If you might need extra altitude, with a bit of forethought, you can install the right system to avoid that.
I have now written down Memphis Belle as my homework for the night.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. There's a documentary on Netflix called Memphis Belle. It's not the same thing as the movie. The movie's great.
I'll definitely have to look into that.
Are you saying the documentary's not?
No, not until the documentary's great as well.
Shots fired at the documentary people.
Yeah, both great, both fascinating.
So I'm curious to know who taught the employees on your crew, on your bomber, who taught the crew any form of sense of urgency? Because every time I command them to go somewhere or do something, they just slowly saunter on over. I've never seen anybody run.
Well, they don't want them to slip over. I guess that's part of it.
They do run. You can make them run. They do have run animations, but you have to be wearing the right things. So when you equip your crew, it's like everything in Bomber Crew is like a balance between. So, for instance, you might have like well-armored clothing. You might have a flak vest and armored boots and stuff, but that will make you move in an emergency. But I always get my engineer in plimsolls, which are like sneakers, and what else makes them go faster? Or fingerless gloves. Fingerless gloves, and there's a very fetching blue beret.
Streamlined.
Yeah. So if you dress them up in the right gear, they will move fast. They will actually run or jog. Yeah, they'll jog through the bomb.
Yeah. So a lot of people go for the fast engineer strategy. Everyone else is really heavily armored, and then you have a fast engineer.
Yeah.
It's quite a popular strategy.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm still early in the game myself.
Joe.
I know. I'm still early in the game myself. I've been moving this whole past week, so my game time has been very limited. But I'm cheating, and all my characters are wearing like the winter vests that give them really good stat increases and are there from the beginning because I guess they're DLC.
Yeah, they were. I think they were a freebie.
I think we added them in on the Christmas update, didn't we?
Yeah,
for free actually.
So when we released the first DLC, we also patched in a bunch of free stuff for people who didn't want to buy the DLC. Yeah.
I like free stuff.
And it was Christmas. So.
Yeah. I think it's the hats that are in the DLC, isn't it? And
is it?
And the jumpers are just there.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think it's that way around.
Can we expect to see additional cosmetic upgrades like that coming along in the future?
Well, there's a big update that we're almost done with.
Yeah.
It was much bigger than we first anticipated.
Yeah, it's really.
But it's really good, and it's it adds it basically adds another aircraft, and it adds another. To remake it. It was kind of a big DLC. It's kind of like half the game again.
Oh wow.
Basically. We're almost done.
That's some big DLC.
It's really big. But we're going to do some proper announcements about it when we get the chance very soon. It's just there's only two of us working on the game. So we've kind of had our heads down trying to get this DLC done as quickly as possible.
It's been a bit frustrating because we don't want to. People ask us on the forum, when's it going to be and what's it going to be? They keep asking as well. And it doesn't seem it's not the best way to announce an upcoming update by sort of answering those questions. Always, it's a bit frustrating when we can't always straight away say everything. But
yeah, that's right. And also working with the publisher, you have to be sort of respectful of their plan as well. Yeah. So it's not like we're totally independent when it comes to releasing stuff or announcing stuff, because we have to make sure we don't tread on their toes in regards to their plans.
Don't want to undermine their efforts.
Yeah, accidentally.
Exactly.
Speaking of your publisher, Curve Digital, I love the fact that you can have their logo on your bomber.
Yeah, we were just kissing ass with him, really. That went in very early.
It seems like you're kissing the asses of everybody, considering I have my Xbox gamer picture plastered all over my own bomber.
Oh, we definitely kiss your asses as well.
I love little touches like that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
to use your because there's also like a nose art editor in there.
Draw your own,
so you can actually little pixel art editor, so you can actually draw your own. But it was pretty cool to pull the sort of profile pictures off the various systems, so everyone's got like a ready-made custom bit of art they can put on the bomber. And that's it. Like the other thing about Bomber Crew is I need to mention the name.
So the name
Bomber Crew, available now on PC and consoles. The other thing about Bomber Crew is the fact that the bomber's like a character as well. I haven't seen many people do it, but you can actually rename your bomber. So you can like customize it and you can give it its own name.
I did that.
What did you call your bomber?
My gamer tag, because I'm incredibly original.
Nice. I called mine the SML Bombcast.
Good. Good. In fact, if you get to spell, I recommend because the more you know about subject, the easier you will find it, because it's taken inspiration from that film, sort of documentaries and about the real bombing missions. So if you do watch that film, you will know what to do in any particular crisis much better.
That actually led me to one of my questions was how did you weigh the balance of making a game that's fun and using a little artistic license to staying true to some historical accuracy?
Yeah, that was really difficult, actually.
Yeah, it was a tough balance.
Because the idea started off, I just did tons of research about, what the crews went through, and it was quite sort of, historically accurate research. And then when you come to actually put the game together, you realize you have to make concessions to gameplay, and you have to, it's really difficult to work out which bits to ignore for the sake of gameplay. Yeah, and most of them sort of really pain me to do so. But
I think me less so. I'm always happier just to make them. We need to put the player in a situation where they're making compromises quite often. If there's one thing that they always would have done historically, but we can't just let the player do the easiest thing. We've got to make a reason for them having to, stay at low altitude here and be at high altitude there, and put them in these situations that perhaps not historically correct, but at least it's making them assess the balance of their bomber and their crew.
Yeah, that's right. I think Jon sort of had a really clear vision of the sort of type of game it was, and like the principles of the actual gameplay. And then we just had loads of awkward arguments about it's not historically accurate. Yeah, but they have to do it. But, and in the end, it kind of worked out. I think it worked out well. I think
we've got a good balance of things. Yeah, I mean, it's not often in the game where you get to sit and relax. You're always making choices, and there's always something imperfect about the choice you make as well. There's never any right strategy. I don't think there's always a downside to most things that you end up doing. So
yeah, that's right. But if you so it's not a perfectly accurate historical document about the bombing raids of World War II. But if you look up the missions and if you sort of research what's there, you will find the real stuff, which is just as interesting. So, for instance, there's a few raids like the raid on Saint Nazaire. Is that how you say it? Is it Operation Chariot? That's right. Yeah. Well, basically, there wasn't a bomber overhead in this mission. It was a ship full of British commandos were tasked with kind of pretending to be a German vessel and getting really close to this dry dock in France, and they basically filled this ship up with explosives with them on it, and they rammed this dry dock, and they all jumped off and started fighting. And then the next day the explosives went off and they blew up this dry dock. It's insane sort of movie stuff. But we kind of that was too interesting not to include, so we kind of added you in as a lone bomber kind of supporting this daring raid. But it's full of we tried to draw from real history as much as possible because it was just so interesting and just so amazing.
That's really cool.
I think it's similar to a lot of games. They have to make similar concessions, don't they? Most games that you would play through, like a shooter, for example, you're one guy who defeats hundreds of thousands of people, but in real life that would never be the case. You'd just be one guy who defeated maybe a few guys, right? And in the scenario of any other FPS or whatever. So it's kind of, you have to make these concessions in any game, I would think. Yeah.
So originally we did plan to have we considered having your bomber one of many, because some raids had one raid had 1,000 bombers in one go attacking top. Yeah, 1,000 bombers. But we sort of soon worked out that it just complicates things so much. It takes away from the action and drama that's going on inside your aircraft. So we made a choice just to stick with you. And it's probably, for history buffs, it's probably weird for a couple of missions, the fact you're on your own. But yeah, really the focus is inside your bomber. So I think most people have got over it. I think most people can accept it.
And if you're not over it by now, I mean, come on, get over it. Grow up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is a game, and it's a game, a modern game made in this day and age. So there's lots of things that aren't historically accurate, but hopefully people can see it comes. The core of it is a real interest in the subject, and if they sort of read up on the stuff in it, and hopefully they'll be able to see that.
So I know the game came out a while ago on PC. What kind of challenges and differences were there bringing it to console?
I guess the main difference is the controls. Because on PC it was very much mouse and keyboard driven. And with the style of game that it is, I don't think this kind of game doesn't often come over to console, I guess because of the control scheme. So we thought about prototyping that really early. We started really early, actually. I think before we even had the PC version out, we started on the console. The controller controls. That was the main thing. We spent a lot of time on that. I think we got it pretty good in the end. I mean, I find it actually easier to play on the controller now than I do on keyboard and mouse. So I think that's kind of a nice place to be. But that was probably the biggest thing. There was a lot of UI work as well, reworking that. But we didn't have to dumb the game down at all. We didn't have to cut anything out. And actually, what we have done is when we did all those optimizations and the extra controller support, and we added the challenge mode, we brought all of that back into the PC version, so all the PC players got all of that as well, which is quite nice. That was the main thing, I think, really just figuring out a control scheme that worked. And maybe it's got a 10-minute learning curve on it, I'd say. It's a little while to get, but once you get it, it's really, really efficient, I think. That's simple.
Yeah, I'd second that about the controls. After I spent when we first put the controls in, the controller support, spent sort of a morning getting used to it, and now it feels like far less work using the controller than using the PC. But you're right. I mean, there aren't many games that do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think FTL ever came to consoles.
No, they never did.
No.
So the controls are to a lot of schemes that people have used, but once you get used to them, it's very. Yeah, but I'm really pleased with the way it worked out.
We've got a bit of an advantage over, I mean, other RTS games that have tried to come to console in the past have been like the Command and Conquer style ones. We've got a huge map, and I've played a couple of ones like that, and it's a lot harder for them to adapt their controller just because of the scope of the space they're working in. Whereas, with Bomber Crew, you've got 7 of your crew, so selecting between them, that's quite quick, and we've got a limited amount of space that they can go between. It's all within the bomber. So I think it's quite good in a way. It's the kind of RTS that can be brought to that control system, unlike a lot that have tried in the past.
Makes sense. Now, you mentioned that a lot of your crew in this game are going to die. What are some of the most inventive and unique ways for your characters to die in the game?
Well, I think the one that no one seems to see coming, but it happens to pretty much everyone. Which is great. I think one of the good things about this game is the support it's got from streamers, like on Twitch and YouTube. Because like terrible things do happen out of nowhere, and and it gives them something to react to, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing that no one seems to see coming, but happens to everyone, is their engine gets bust. They send their brave engineer out onto the wing to fix it. And then they see some enemy fighters and go, "Oh no, corkscrew!" And they do this acrobatic maneuver. And then the next thing they know, they level again. And go, "Oh, where's my engineer?" So someone off the wing is that's probably the
You can send them out with a parachute.
Yeah,
and if you send them out with a parachute and you forget and do a maneuver, then at least they'll survive until the next mission, maybe.
Yeah,
depending where they land.
Yeah, depending where they land. And then you've got to be careful of high altitude.
High altitude people freezing to death, running out of oxygen.
Yeah, because you can fly high altitude, and as long as everyone's at their station, they'll have an oxygen supply until the oxygen supply breaks. So if you're at high altitude and the O2 supply gets hit, everyone's oxygen will stop working, and in like 20 seconds, everyone will be dead.
Oh, God.
That's one of the sort of payoff things. You go up to high altitude. If you've got warm clothing, then you'll be fine. And some fighters can't fly that high, so you'll be safe from fighters, you'll be safe from flak. Yeah. But if anything happens to that oxygen supply, then it will go wrong very quickly.
You can emergency dive to get down lower, and there's other things you can do to sort of get yourself out of that situation. But yeah, you get that. A lot of people forget to repair the electrical system, and it sparks up a fire at the back. Yeah, and then they've got all their guns.
I did that.
Most people panic. Did you panic?
Yeah. I was like, what is this? What am I supposed to do?
Keep calm and put the fire out.
The funny thing is that you mentioned people accidentally sending their engineer out to the wing and forgetting they were there.
Yeah.
I did that. Like, I didn't realize he wouldn't just come in on his own.
No.
And so, like, I'm just gallivanting around like, the fuck is he doing out there? But I also saw on the Steam forums where people were using that technique to get rid of crew members they didn't want anymore.
Oh, really?
On purpose.
That's
so you might want to find a way to, like, send them on leave. Because people are just flinging them off the wings on purpose.
No,
those murderers.
You don't want to split up a crew once a crew's formed.
Yeah.
Maybe we could introduce some sort of conscientious objector status feature. And then update.
Keep track of it. No intentional deaths, you get a bonus.
The interesting thing, and the reason that that's important, because we haven't mentioned it yet, but you recruit your crew members based on their skills and abilities.
Yeah.
People on the forums were actually saying they have spreadsheets of skill, like the skill sets and ability possibilities. Just like, did you expect that kind of fanfare that people would be setting up spreadsheets?
They could have just asked for ours.
Yeah, people go crazy when there's any opportunity to make a spreadsheet.
Oh, that's really cool. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's really
cool. Thanks for telling us.
Yeah, I'll have a look. I was quite impressed by some of the scores people have got on challenge mode already. We've been playing it since we developed it, and they've got 5 times our score already. And
wow.
I thought I was the best in the world.
They're using those spreadsheets and setting up their crew and flinging the ones they don't like into the abyss. That's how they're doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
So there's a occupation you have to watch out for, which is my favourite. I don't know if you have. You probably don't have this in the States. Do you know what a bog snorkeler is?
No.
So do you know what a bog is?
No.
Like a pond.
Yeah, swamp sort of. Yeah, pond.
Okay.
Swamp.
Yeah.
But it's a pastime to some people in the UK to go bog snorkeling, where you get a snorkel and you sort of go around. You go around in a bog.
You guys don't have alligators. That's the reason you can get away with that shit.
There is nothing natural that can kill you. We don't, unless you're allergic to bee stings or something.
Allergic to
no animal can harm you. The weather, very unlucky to get killed by the weather. I mean,
some people have been, I'm sure,
but it's like
not often.
Yeah,
like I could go outside and get torn up by a coyote in like 20 minutes.
We don't have tornadoes or any of the extreme weather, really.
It's the thing. Yeah, we don't really.
It's been a bit warm lately, and everyone's freaking out.
Yes,
as far as it goes.
I'm just. How the hell is that an occupation?
Because you see, there might be cool stuff at the bottom of the bog. I guess.
Do we call it occupation?
What do we call them?
What is it? Tribute.
We call them traits, but we write something else in the screen.
We might call them occupations. I don't think there's any professional bog snorkelers, no. It's just a pastime.
Like, I could just think of all the things here. We have water moccasins. You guys do you not have those?
Well,
water moccasin is a snake. Sometimes they're called cottonmouths.
That sounds adorable.
I know, it sounds adorable. It will kill you. Like 3 seconds. I could go outside in my yard, walk down to the creek, and there's probably a cottonmouth.
Oh, really?
Why is it called cottonmouth? That doesn't sound dangerous.
Yeah, that's why a lot of us call them water moccasins. But that doesn't sound risky either, because it just sounds like a shoe that's wet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can get pretty bad foot infection from a wet shoe.
But we do, like, we teach kids when they're really little, like, if you smell watermelon and you're not near a watermelon field, you need to get the fuck out, because moccasins smell like watermelon.
Smell like watermelon?
Yeah.
So they sound adorable.
They're horrible snakes. They're our equivalent of a rattlesnake, because we don't have rattlesnake.
Okay.
That might not be true. I think we do have rattlesnakes. They're just not as commonplace and populated here. But you could probably find one if you go up on the hill far enough.
Wow. Yeah, we have nothing dangerous.
Yeah, we get grass snakes. That's about it.
Yeah, it's not going to bite you, though.
No. We get adders occasionally.
Yeah, but no
so
one's ever died.
I've never seen a snake in the wild.
Yeah, I've seen one.
Oh.
I
like how we're just talking about how gentle everything over there is compared to the rest of the world.
Right?
It is, though. It is. Yeah, it's true. I feel kind of lucky.
Yeah, it's all quite laid back here, isn't it?
I mean, politics, our government's a shit show, but hey, where isn't it?
But at least you can go to the doctor's office.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You have nothing that will kill you, and you have health care. I don't understand this.
We have stretched healthcare, but we have it.
We do have health.
That's the thing. It's just going to turn into politics.
Yeah, it's too late now.
I don't understand why everyone's so scared of terrorism. I'd be scared of a poor healthcare system before I'm scared of a terrorist, right? Right, kids?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Anyway,
before we started recording, but yeah, healthcare is a big issue for me.
yeah, imagine. Yeah,
God, I'm getting really angry about it.
You're getting angry
because I do read about it, and I think it's just insane. It's just an awful situation.
Yeah, I mean, and the worry is that with everything that's happening, that we end up with a healthcare system more similar to yours, which is a big worry.
You don't want this shit.
Not at all. But
I actually checked what. I've never gotten a bill because I'm on government insurance because I'm poor. But I've never gotten a bill from my specialist before, and then they set us up on a new system where you can check online. And I checked it out of curiosity to see what my bill was, and it was $1,700 for a 20-minute appointment.
What the fuck?
And that didn't include the medication. That was just to see the doctor.
Wow.
Really? How good? Well, who's the doctor?
That's my rheumatologist for my rheumatoid disease.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I see her every 3 months. In addition to seeing my regular doctor and my other specialists, because I had an injury 2 months ago that everybody that listens to the show is like, yes, Cole, we know.
I feel like now you have to explain it because you brought it up.
It's par for the course at this point. It's been 8 weeks of me talking about how I fucked up my knee. I dislocated my knee because I fell in dog puke.
It's still funny every time.
Whoa. Did the dog puke make you slip up?
Yeah, because I was mopping where the dog had got sick.
Yeah.
And I was mopping and I stepped in it and it was like really snotty and slick. And I hit the floor like a ton of bricks. I hit the corner of my eye on the coffee table. I broke my glasses. I had a black eye. My knee come out of place. I have a torn ligament.
Did you abandon cleaning up the puke?
Yeah, my husband hasn't let me mop in 8 weeks. It's fabulous. It was totally worth it. Like, my existence for the last 8 weeks has been in a bubble, and my husband is like, sit in that chair. Here's a Dr. Pepper and a snack. Don't fucking move. And I love it.
And then you come on the show and explain how you've hurt yourself repeatedly.
Yes.
And it is still funny to me every single time.
Like, that's the terrible part. Like, yeah, my knee hurts and I have to have a brace, and I see doctors 10 million more times than I already wanted to. But it's funny. It's a good story.
But you get mocked on a podcast weekly.
Right.
They have to pull a straight face when you're saying that you slipped up in the city. Or do they laugh?
No, the doctor, the funny thing, when I saw the surgeon, because they thought they might have to do surgery on it, and they still might eventually, because of the whole I'm on chemo so I don't heal thing. They're just kind of like watching it, like it might heal, it might not.
Okay.
And so, like, the first time that I saw him, he comes in, or the second time, I'm sorry, they did the MRI, and he comes in and he's like, he's got his brows are all furrowed, and for the sake of honesty, I'm an older fat white chick and I don't do shit. I'm an artist and I podcast. And I'm honest about that. This doctor comes in and he looks at me and he goes, "How did you do this injury again?" And I'm like, "I fell on dog puke while mopping." and he's like, "This is the type of injury that we see in football players and car wreck accidents." And I'm like, "Yeah, neither of those were my case. Sorry, dude. What are we going to do about it?" Because I couldn't walk for 3 weeks. I used a walker to get around for about 3 weeks. And then, like, the actual accident, when it happened, I put my knee back in place myself because I'm a badass, goddammit. And like, my husband wasn't home, and it took about an hour for him to get to me. And at that point, like, he was holding my knee in place because if I tried to put weight on it, it would buckle and my kneecap would come back out. And you could actually see my kneecap and my femur poking out of the side of my thigh. And so, like, he was holding it in place this whole time. Now you know future ideas for injuries for your bomber crew.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, he had to hold my knee like he was a brace for me and walk me out to the car and then drive me to the hospital. And because we live on dirt roads in the middle of fucking nowhere, that was a 2-hour adventure. And then, yeah, all because of dog puke. And like, you really, if your dog is going to puke, train them to go outside.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because that shit's dangerous.
My dream in life now is to fire up Bomber Crew one day and see that they've introduced pets to the game. And there's a dog
on the plane.
There's a dog on the bomber with you, and you can slip and dog puke. That would make me the happiest person in the world to see that happen.
We originally planned a dog. Yeah. It would come to the recruitment office, and you'd recruit it, and it would just knock around the airbase.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Bringing it back.
Had time.
Yeah. On the mission.
As well, that's
too many emergency dives. It spews all over the fuselage.
Yes.
All you can throw for it, maybe.
I won't even charge you for the idea. You're welcome.
The dog's name could be Cole.
Yeah. It's a great unisex name.
Oh my god. So when you guys aren't working on Bomber Crew, what kind of games are you playing these days?
A whole load of things, I guess. I can't remember. I've been playing Splatoon 2 and The Witcher 3. That's the two I've been playing lately.
Good games.
Play Mario Kart on my Switch and Arma 3. Have you played Arma 3?
No, I have not.
Oh god, it's so good. It's like
Mario Kart though.
Okay, yeah, Mario Kart's good too.
Yeah, we both played a lot of Mario
Arma 3 is like a hardcore military. It's brilliant.
They've got the head tracking stuff.
Yeah, I've got the track IR,
look around
stuff,
that kind of thing. Yeah, I guess it's quite a wide range. When I'll play almost anything. There's many things I don't try and play a bit of.
Arma's only on PC though, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. It's proper nerdy hardcore.
Sort of comes from the Operation Flashpoint guys, isn't it? It's the original Operation Flashpoint.
I'm a console boy. My computer sucks. Not as bad as my internet sucks, but my computer does suck.
You kind of need good internet to get much out of a PC nowadays anyway. I mean,
yeah, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen again for me.
It's funny because I have totally redneck internet and it's way better than yours.
Oh, really?
I had amazing internet a week
fiber
ago.
Optic internet here. Like, we don't have shit else. You can't even. It's an hour to get to Walmart, but we've got fiber optic internet, so it's totally worth it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, where could we get halfway across the country? We get out of the country. Yeah, it'd be in France in an hour. Yeah, probably.
The sad thing is I used to have good internet, and then I moved, and now it's just awful. And the worst part is I'm sitting here staring at my computer. My internet hasn't dropped in like the past half hour, and I'm still on my phone. So
not worth it though. The minute you go on it, it's going to cut out.
I know. Exactly. That's the only reason I haven't switched back over, is because I know as soon as I do, it's going to catch fire.
So can you not get a different provider then? So
it's the infrastructure that's shit, right?
Things are complicated in America, where companies have their regions that they cover, and it's basically monopolized areas where no one else services the area.
Right. That's how it is here. We don't have like a regular company. We have a co-op, and so they control all the lines. So like you can't get AT&T internet or Cox or Windstream or anything like that here. It's just, we have a company called Foothills, and it's just Foothills.
All right.
That's that. Well, on the right side, Foothills is not particularly shitty, and we do have good quality internet. Like we pay for $250 down, $250 up, and that was actually a big switch. They just did that a couple of months ago, because we used to pay for $50 down, $25 up,
right?
And then in April they were like, surprise, we got upgraded to fiber optic and we get better speeds now. Hooray. Because they got a government grant. Yeah. Because small town rural area, they service all the schools around here. So they got a big government grant to put for schools. And if you live within so many miles of the school, you got upgraded too. So we got upgraded to $250 over $250, and we still pay the same price.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Damn.
Because here you get a lot of choice. And I guess quite a lot of it uses the same physical wiring. I mean, we have a choice of fiber and over the phone line. But just in one town that I used to live in Hull, that's the place where you don't get a choice. I've opted out years and years ago, and you can only have the local provider there. But everywhere else in the country, you can have whoever you want. When I lived in Hull, you just had this one company. I guess it's a bit like what it must be like for you guys. They own all the lines, so the only one you can have. They kind of just section themselves off. And say,
monopolies on essential services are bad, kids.
Yeah. They're all kind of people trying to do workarounds. They came up with some crazy like grid system of Wi-Fi that people could all like latch onto and all these other things. I don't think any of it ever went anywhere, but it's just strange. There's one town in the UK where you don't get a choice and the rest you do. So I don't know how that happens.
Magic.
It comes with the accent.
What does?
The magic.
The magic. The magic comes with the British accent. Haven't you ever seen Harry Potter?
oh yeah. Harry Potter. Yeah.
You're a wizard, Harry.
That's good. I love it when Americans do British accents.
Yeah, do some more.
Do more.
Are we being mocked?
I love it. It's exciting for us. It's brilliant.
Well, Governor, it's been wonderful.
That's the Simpsons British accent.
I can't do voices or accents. I'm terrible at them. As is evidenced by the fact that I just tried.
See, you know how I talked before about my drama teacher that tried to make us kill our accents by talking with carrot chips in our mouths? She also told us something that was very interesting, which was odd because she was trying to kill our fucking accents. But the Appalachian dialect is the closest that we have today to Elizabethan English.
Really?
And it's actually dying out because of globalization and the internet and TV. because we're being exposed to other dialects more. But because we were so rural and secluded for so long, the way we talk was preserved.
Right.
And then everybody makes fun of us and calls us idiots.
Now, to be fair, I call you an idiot for different reasons. It has nothing to do with your accent.
Very valid ones.
Yes.
I concede. Valid reasons. But the rest of the world likes to make fun of the way I talk.
Which, again, valid.
I don't talk this way because I'm dumb. I'm dumb for other reasons. And I just happen to talk this way too.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they're sitting over there going, but your accent's, not that strong. Because we hear that a lot when I bring up how weird I talk on the show. But
you don't sound weird.
That's because I kill it for the show.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Come on, let it go.
Yeah.
Hey Cole, who's the guy with the gun that usually hides on rooftops and hits you?
He's a sniper.
Where else do they like to hide?
In the windows. Sometimes you have to watch out for them because the lens flare is a bright white light.
Bright white light.
Your clothes are dirty. What do you do with them?
Huh?
Your clothes are dirty. Where do you put them?
In the washing machine.
Never heard that one before.
Washing machine.
Yep. That's that Elizabethan English for you.
How'd you guys say squirrel?
That's all royal and shit.
Mm-hmm. Say that again?
How do you guys say squirrel?
Squirrel.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and I think Joe's made fun of me for this one too, but I don't say oil. I say oil.
Oh.
Oil instead of oil.
Yes.
Oil.
It's like if you're cooking, it's vegetable oil or peanut oil. I also don't say fire truck. It's far truck. My husband used to be a far fighter.
A far fighter?
Yeah. So he was a fireman. So,
Still funny. Every time. It is still funny.
Look, I will go ahead and warn you. I've been married to my husband for 17 years. My mother-in-law still makes fun of how I say 9.
And that's not even that bad a one.
She laughs every fucking time. For 17 years. It's never going to stop being funny.
9 isn't even that bad, though.
9, well, generally long ass. And ass, there we go. Ass is another one. My husband is like, oh, so-and-so's coming over. Please don't offer them any ass.
Oh, like the frozen water?
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like ass.
Ass water. Want some ass water?
I've got one for you guys. Okay. Metal aluminium.
Aluminum.
That's aluminum.
Okay, right. Do you have the spelling in front of you?
They spell it differently, right?
Do you spell it? How do you spell aluminium?
ALUMINUM.
Huh?
See, they spell it different.
Okay, never mind.
But I hear that one a lot. It's like that's always one that people bring up is the difference between aluminum and
aluminium.
I think the fact that you guys put a U in words like color affects how
and flavor.
You guys say it like you can kind of hear the U in the way you guys pronounce it. To us, it just looks weird. And it's
flavor.
Everyone has a U nowadays.
I thought
flavor.
No, they've got U's in words.
Oh, okay.
Not as many as we have.
Oh, the differences of languages. Oh boy.
Potato.
We always devolve into this whenever there's somebody from overseas or Canada. Even Canadian developers get into it because I talk funny.
You do talk funny, and that's part of the charm of this show. I don't matter anymore.
It is. It's really just like turned into let's ask Cole weird questions about her farm and how she talks. And that's okay.
Your voice reminds me a little bit. I don't know if anyone said this to you before. It reminds me a little bit of Mel from Flight of the Con. Do you have that TV series?
What is her name? That actress, Joe. Somebody else commented on one of the YouTube videos once and said I sounded like that chick.
Kristen Shaw.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
I've heard that before.
Yeah, no, I can hear that.
It's a lovely voice.
Squeaky and shrill.
Nothing's wrong with Squeaky. One of my kittens, she doesn't meow, she just squeaks.
Oh, really?
You sure it's a kitten?
It might be a rodent. We're not sure, but it looks like a cat.
Yeah, a little parakeet or a
parakeet. I was going to say mouse.
A mouse? It could be a mouse.
Predator's coming to live with me, just so you know. I've still decided, I'm just waiting for the opportunity to snatch her. Gabriel says that she would be a wonderful friend, and so she's going to come live with us.
Yeah, good luck.
She's gonna get Gabe addicted to the probiotics.
Oh Lord, there are way too many stories we could get to, but I know we've been chatting for a good while now. Was there anything else about Bomber Crew that you guys wanted to talk about that we didn't bring up? I feel bad that we've just kind of wandered so far away from Bomber Crew at this point.
I'm sick of it, to be honest.
Fuck the game. It's out. Go buy it.
It really is a lovely game, and you really should try it out if you hadn't. It's on PC and console, etc., available now.
That's all true.
And where can people keep up to date with what you guys are doing?
I'd rather leave us alone. I'm joking.
We've got the Twitter.
So at Bomber Crew Game on Twitter.
We've got a mailing list, but no one's on it, and we've never sent an email on it. But we might use that in the future.
Yeah, but we can follow Runner Duck Games at Runner Duck Games on Twitter, and because we will be doing something else.
We're going to do another game, and I'm sure we'll update the Bomber Crew Twitter with whatever we do as well, even when it's another game.
Yeah, so Twitter, really.
Good stuff. And what is next for you guys?
I'm going to have a break.
Yeah,
because we've been full time on this, or more than full time.
We haven't really stopped since. We're going to take a little bit of time out to think about what the next game is and sort of get ready to really get going. It just needs a bit more formulating. I think we need to have a breather to get to that point. Yeah. We're going to do another game. Yeah. I mean that's.
Yeah, but right now we're still working on getting this DLC, this big DLC ready.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that.
It's so hard to think about what's next when you're right in the middle of something like this as well.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh, whenever you guys are ready to talk about whatever's next, be sure to hit us up. Come back on. You've been a pleasure to chat with. I apologize for all of the internet issues on my end with this. I promise next time they might be gone.
I apologize for me. That he stuck you with me and he had to listen to me.
Not at all. It's been lovely. It's been great talking to you. And thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone else, stick around. We're going to take a quick break, be back with more of the show. Jon and Dave, again, it has been a pleasure. Do either of you have any final words to end this part of the show?
Just be awesome to each other. Excellent. I meant to say excellent.
Yeah, you got that wrong.
Yeah.
We'll end on that. That's great.
We have nothing.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for sticking around. Thanks again to Dave and Jon at Runner Duck Games for joining us and chatting about Bomber Crew. Cole, you're still here. How are you doing?
I'm still here. I know it's only been like 30 seconds, but I'm so fucking tired. I wore myself
It's at least like a minute because there's a song in there somewhere.
Is there? Okay. So I am so worn out now. Like between the interview and rocking out to the song, I'm old and I'm tired and bitches need a nap now.
That was the longest song ever.
Yeah.
But we're not alone, and as evidenced by my eating beef jerky right now, food is involved, and when there's food involved, it's a crunchcast. When it's a crunchcast, Kris Huber, I can't even talk. That's how.
Kris Huber?
Because you're listen, now you're starting to sound like Steve, and that's
I was going to say, I'm thinking of Steve. Uber.
Uber.
Hey, Uber. Did you cut the grass today, Uber?
Yeah.
How you doing, Kris?
God. I'm alive. I mean, I have no idea how I'm still going right now because it's just been like nonstop. I'm surprised that I'm even here. Like you kept hitting me up. You kept hitting me up, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I hope. Like, I was working on my car again. Shocker. I didn't even know if I was going to get done in time to get here, and now I've got like I'm essentially prepping to leave to drive to New Jersey tomorrow morning. And I have just like so much stuff to get ready, and yeah.
No,
so I'm just doing.
We won't keep you too long.
I'm multitasking. Well, so I have to, like I was about to tell you before we started, I have to back up my old iPad so that I could transfer everything onto the new iPad.
Oh, you got a new iPad?
Yeah. It's not one that I really wanted, but it was one that was at least a step above the one that I currently have and more affordable. So it's a mini. Right now, before that, I was rocking the iPad 2. Still has the wide plug on the bottom.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, and I've never backed it up ever the whole time that I've owned it.
You want to know what's really cool? Avenged Immortal just raided us with 4 people, so that's pretty fun.
Nice. You know what, Joe? I'm sure that you told me what we were going to talk about, at least sort of.
Not at all. You want to know why? Because you're here. It's a special occasion. This is episode number 400.
Oh, right. I knew there was a reason specifically.
Friggin' 100.
Whee!
Yay. This is the most low energy.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was going to get here. So, I mean, I don't know. It's
because we're all old now.
Do you think Tim ever thought it would get to 400?
Probably not.
Do you think Tim even knows that it's still going?
Probably not.
Does anyone else remember Tim?
Probably
not. Well, once upon a time, in the early days of the 2013s.
Yeah. Back when we thought, like, you know, things would never get worse than George W. Bush.
Oh, Jesus.
Simpler days.
A simpler, more naive time.
Naive.
Exactly.
Holy shit. Yeah, man. Fucking 400 episodes. I'm glad you're here for this.
I am too. I'm genuinely surprised that I am here.
Oh shit! And to celebrate 400 episodes, No Time for Games just dropped 400 biddies in the chat.
Oh shit!
So it's a celebration of all varieties, including Crunchcast, the return of Crunchcast.
I mean, it's always a return of Crunchcast when I'm here. True. At first, I was slightly like, you know, is it every time that I'm here? And then I was like, you know what? It is every time that I'm here. It is every time you're here.
Cole, are you familiar with Crunchcast?
So I can't even get mad.
Only in the regards of that, it's what happens when you guys eat during the podcast.
Then yes, you are familiar with what a Crunchcast is.
And then I feel left out because A, I'm hungry, and B, I ain't got nothing that crunches.
You don't have any carrot chips for your teeth?
No. I feed all the carrot chips to the rabbit at this point.
Well, then steal one back.
I'll let her learn how to say the big black bug bled blue black blood.
Sorry, what?
Do I have to repeat it? Really?
Yes.
Yes.
The big black bug bled blue black blood.
Okay.
The only thing I don't get is blue black blood. Like, wouldn't it just be black?
Put more letters in there is what it is. That's how tongue twisters work.
Well, then throw in blindingly bled blue black blood.
But that just don't make no sense, Joe.
Ah, shit.
I mean, he just bled without any care in the world.
Nope.
Just everywhere.
Maybe.
Oh my God, we are all so tired.
Well, I'm off to a very, very bad start with this iPad.
Why? What'd you do?
It doesn't recognize the old one.
Oh no.
That's
So
what
this
gives
is
buying an iPad.
so this is fun. So this is gonna be my night. This is
What all do you have to copy over?
like all the
Lots of
apps
porn.
and like. I mean, I guess mostly the app. I mean, I could probably sit and re-download like all of them individually. I mean, there were some files that I was gonna try and transfer over, but
Fresh start, man. Just starting over. We all need a fresh start every now and then. So what's up? This is episode 1 of the SML Podcast.
I'm
something
new here.
like that, right?
Got to transfer that porns. Yeah, you know what's up, Cole.
No, honestly, it's mostly like my road games and like the app that I use to mix the band.
That's a funny way to pronounce porn.
And there's
Why
only
would you
3 games.
download porn when you could just stream it?
People do weird things, Joe.
They have sentimental attachment.
They do
Sometimes
weird
you
things
find
on
Like,
one
I
podcasts.
that's
remember the
really
last
good,
time I
and you
watched
don't want
that.
to have to. Like, imagine if you found a good one, and then all of a sudden you went back for it to stream it, and it had been pulled, and it wasn't there no more, and then you'd be heartbroken. So you just download it to be safe. That way, you know you always have your favorite porn.
Favorite.
At least that's what I assume people do.
Allegedly.
I mean, who rewatches porn? You always, there's just so much out there nowadays that you just got to find something new. You got to experiment. You got to browse around and find something new.
Are you kink shaming, Joe?
No, not at all. You do you, Cole. You know, whatever porn you like to watch, you know, just do what you got to do. I'm saying from a personal perspective, you know, you just got to browse. You got to see what's out there, what's new, search by newest and find something. Maybe you might find your new favorite.
But then your old
I'm not sure I
favorite
need a new favorite.
would feel sad and neglected and
Yeah.
not your favorite anymore. That's
Yeah.
just mean. You can't just discard porn like it's a thing to be used and thrown away.
You can't just throw away porn like the tissue.
Have you no heart?
Oh, no, not really. I don't have anything going on. Not after this week. Holy shit. Oh my God. I've never been so tired in my life with this move. This is the first week in my life that I have ever willingly and knowingly purchased and drank 5 Hour Energy.
Ooh. Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's bad.
When you're driving a U-Haul truck and your eyes are just super heavy and you're slapping yourself trying to stay awake and you pull over and you look at the sodas and you're like, I don't think they're going to be strong enough. And then you get to the register and you see that 5 Hour Energy and you're like, shit, this is going to happen, isn't it?
I never get
or
for how
meth.
much I was on the road. For how much I was on the road, I never got to that point. It was only just like a Red Bull or something like that for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I needed
5 Hour
something.
Energy frightens me.
Why?
Like, it's just the bottle's too small.
But that means it can
For what
fit
it's claiming-
places.
No. So like what it's claiming to do for that small volume of stuff, it's got to be extremely potent, and that frightens me.
I mean, think of espresso. You're technically drinking espresso in a shot because it's so potent, but it's tiny.
Well, espresso's a shot too.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
mean,
no,
you're
I
supposed
understand
to
if you're
drink
getting
it
like
in a
coffee or
shot.
something. Yeah.
But, I don't know how to coffee. I don't drink coffee.
I don't know how to coffee.
That espresso is in a shot and it's supposed to make you bounce off the walls.
Yeah, espresso is like super, I don't know, I guess, I don't want to say condensed, but like very potent.
Concentrated.
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for, because I got all the words.
You're the smart one.
I'm smart.
I was looking at the bottle. I was looking at the bottle, and it says it has the same amount of caffeine as a 12-ounce coffee. I'm like, really? That's it? I thought this was supposed to be like crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, a 12-ounce coffee, I don't know. What kind of coffee? Like...
that's
leading
kind of
coffee.
Like, is it 12 ounces of espresso?
Doc Havoc, I've actually fallen asleep within 15 minutes after downing the Super XL 5-hour crap.
That's crazy. I mean, like, I don't know. That stuff messes me up. I'm very sensitive to caffeine and like all that kind of energy stuff.
I needed something more than just soda, because Lord knows how much soda I drink the way it is.
Well, I mean, you're desensitized.
Yeah. So I needed that extra kick.
Your tolerance is much higher.
Yeah.
So basically from now on, you just have to go straight for the meth.
I was going to say, now you just have to like, you have to,
I was drinking water there.
You have to freeze dry like Ball's energy drinks and then just like snort it from like a little ring.
Now I'm kind of tempted to see if that would work.
Like, I think you might be onto something.
Snorting balls. That's how to do it.
What's it gonna take to get you over your caffeine wall, I guess? So instead of a food wall, it's a caffeine wall.
I don't know. Should we talk some news, though? There was a little bit of news that we should probably discuss this week.
We should talk news.
Games with gold for August have been announced, and it's a pretty solid month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I am
not mad.
So I'm...
No, Xbox 360 for August 1st through the 15th, Dead Space 3.
Okay.
And then,
was Dead Space 2 ever backward compatible, or Games with Gold?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because I was looking and I was like, I feel like I should have Dead Space 2, but I didn't. I only had Dead Space 1.
I don't remember. But Kris, you'll be excited about this one. August 16th through the 31st, Epic Mickey 2.
I would play that. I'd play through that again.
I knew you'd be excited about that.
Yeah.
My kids would play it. I probably wouldn't. I have so little time to play shit that I want to play just for the sake of playing it that I just have to go, that doesn't make the cut. But if it keeps my kids entertained for, a couple hours, bye guys, have fun. Because they still have the 360 in their room. So they could just go play that shit and not bug me, and I don't have to worry about them like, oh, we randomly bought a game on the store. I can just be like, no, you have Mickey, fuck off, don't buy anything else.
I was going to say, I thought you were talking about Dead Space 3.
I mean...
number one could play, well, I don't know. I tend to be a little more strict, so I probably wouldn't even let number one play it. I'm one of those horrible parents that don't let my 14-year-old play mature games.
How dare you?
Right?
How dare
Like, I have standards. I lie. She's allowed to play Assassin's Creed, and that's because we live in redneck land, and I'm pretty sure that Assassin's Creed does a better job of teaching her history than the schools do.
Probably.
But
You're not wrong.
That's one of the few exceptions to the mature rules. She's allowed to play that. But yeah, I probably would not let her play Dead Space, though.
But let's see, Xbox One through the entire month of August is a biggie. Forza Horizon 2.
I mean, I already own it, so...
But now you won't need the disc.
I mean, I already own it digitally.
Well, then it's not for you, but other people can enjoy it. It's still a big game, I think, to be added.
Forza Horizon 2... We got it before, didn't we? But it was 360.
I don't think Forza Horizon 2 was a game with gold, was it?
Yeah,
I swear I feel like it was.
I know the original was.
I know the first one was for sure, but I swear I feel like Forza Horizon 2 was, but it was the 360 version. And so now we're actually getting the one version.
I don't know. I really don't remember the second one.
Carnage says that it was. I don't know. Maybe not.
He's
Maybe
talking about the Fast and Furious Forza Horizon 2.
Fucking Carnage, you're supposed to help me out here, dude, and just set me up for failure. I can fuck up on my own, thank you.
But last game, August 16th through September 15th, For Honor.
I'm excited about that.
Listen, I will take owning that on a console so that I can play it with my console friends.
Does that mean we're actually going to play a game together, Chris?
Dude, you have no idea how much time I have in For Honor on the fucking PC. Like,
dude, it's why you quit the show. Of course I know why.
Dude. I love it.
Does that mean I play games with Chris more than you have? Because we've played Rocket League together some.
Possibly.
We played Diablo the other night for like a little bit.
For like 20 minutes, and then you're like, hey, I'm going to play Skate 3, and then I'll be back and play with you some more, and you were gone forever.
Listen, first off, it's Skate 3. I think you kind of already knew that you lost me. And then secondly, how did I not just like take you from 0 to 70 in like because it was definitely 30 minutes.
30 minutes. It wasn't 20, it was 30.
It was definitely at least 30 minutes because didn't I get you from 0 to 70 in 30 minutes?
Something like that. But what did we do together? Because it was, okay, I'm going to start the rift, stay here, don't move, don't do anything.
Well,
okay, you're level 70, I'm going to play Skate.
I got you established so that now we can play together. That's what that
sounds like what happened with us in the division.
Yeah, stay here,
don't move.
I want to play games with people and actually play with people. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid Games with Gold lineup.
Yeah, that is solid.
Runner. Because I've played it, the beta, and I played the pre-weekends a couple times, but I never had anybody that I could convince to play with me. And then because I couldn't get anybody to play it with me, I couldn't justify spending the $60 on it. And then it just kind of fell into the abyss. So now I'm like, look, I got it. My friends got it. Nobody's got any fucking excuse. We're not going to play For Honor now. Somebody will find an excuse. But currently, I get to be optimistic about it.
Yeah.
No, I'm really pumped for to have like another account for Honor.
I'm excited that we might all be able to play a game together.
Joe, in all seriousness, like the reason why I haven't been paying attention to a lot of other fighting games is because I think For Honor has become my favorite fighting game.
Wow.
Yeah.
What makes it your favorite?
So, I mean, obviously, like the fact that it's a little bit more like realistic in the way that the combat like ends up getting played out, and especially in the way that it's not like from a traditional like 2D standpoint where you're always like just sidestepping like left and right until you like are in the perfect zone to throw out an attack, and it has nothing. There's no like. I think you can learn the core concepts of the gameplay very easily, and then the learning curve just comes into like timing everything right and reading your opponent correctly, as opposed to like sheer cheese.
Speaking of, Doc Havoc was asking if you actually played back when matches were hosted locally and exploitable out the ass by shitlords. His words.
Well, I did, and the fact that they now have dedicated the dedicated servers is the best thing that ever happened to that game. Period. Like just period. They needed them at launch. I think if those were at launch, the game would have gotten that much good praise. Because the other thing is they've been doing a lot to this game in the past year. Like a shit ton. They have been supporting it. They have been rolling out regular content. They still do like weekly updates of like all the things that they're changing in the game, and like, albeit I don't like the way that they deal with their microtransactions. Like I still think that the way that they approach it and all the stuff that they have, like and how they do it, I'm not a fan of. But at the same time,
how do they do it? Like, what don't you like about it?
Like, I gotta grind forever if I wanted to get all of the characters without paying for like the season pass. You can get them, which is cool. But dude, like the amount of steel that you need, like you got to dump a lot of hours into it to even come close. And all your cosmetics and stuff like that, like they've got cool ones, but again, you got to grind for a long time. So it makes those purchases seem like you're not, for how much time that you have to sink into it and what you get out of it, it doesn't seem like they're like as rewarding as they should be, I guess. That's my only like gripe when it comes to the way that they do their microtransaction. The game itself plays fucking awesome. Like I really, really do enjoy it a lot. Like a lot.
That's good.
So
I'm glad you brought up microtransactions though. Did you hear which game is dropping microtransactions?
No.
Forza 7. They are getting rid of the prize crates later on this winter. And the paid tokens, you know how they have the, you can buy cars either with credits or through the paid tokens. They will not be in Forza Horizon 4.
Wow.
So it's all just like play the way that it should be. You play the game and then you unlock the stuff. Gee, what a great concept.
Hey, it's good to see them getting rid of something so controversial these days. I don't know if it's to gain some extra goodwill from the gamers, or if they're just not performing as well as they would have hoped. But either way, they're going away.
Well, it's about damn time.
Indeed.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, they said all of the cars that were available in those prize crates in Forza 7 will be available just buying normally, which, hooray! No more prize crates.
Yeah. Now if more games could start like hopping on the bandwagon, that would be great.
I'm curious though if it isn't actually that more games are hopping on the bandwagon, because didn't Shadow of Mordor drop their microtransactions as well recently?
Did they?
Yeah, they took out the microtransaction store.
That's good.
From Shadow of Mordor. So it's something we're starting to see more frequently. And even
Hooray!
The Division has microtransactions for buying cosmetics, but they made it to where you can earn it in the game completely without having to ever pay for it as well. Hooray! So you can pay if you want it now, but if you're playing naturally anyway, you're going to rack up them cipher keys like it's nobody's business.
Hooray!
Yay, goodbye, fuck off.
The way that it should be.
It really should be. Like if you're plunking down $60, $70, $100 sometimes for a game, and then you still don't get the full experience, that's pretty shitty.
Terrible.
So, like I understand the need to add some kind of extra revenue stream, because we really haven't seen game prices go up in a long ass time.
No, we haven't.
They actually came down. Don't forget, in the N64 days, you could pay $80, $90 for a game.
Yeah. Yep. And then you consider that the budgets for these games has increased exponentially.
Oh, yeah.
So it really, like, on one hand, you can understand why the microtransactions are a thing. They need that revenue stream to justify what they're putting into even just developing these games. But
however,
it's and that means that everything I said before the word "but" is basically null and void.
Yeah, but
it still just seems like a shitty practice to say drop $100 for this game and then drop some more if you want the rest.
No, I hate that. I really hate that.
Like I would rather pay a higher. I would just rather pay a higher price overall.
Yeah.
Than to be nickeled and dimed to death.
You guys remember that GDPR thing that was going around where, like, in Europe, you have to disclose all whatever information that you're collecting on people?
Yes.
Some guy went to see what all information EA had on him, and he found out that over a span of 2 years, he spent $10,000 on, like, FIFA Ultimate Team shit.
That's so crazy.
I can't even fathom how you do that and not already just know you've done it.
How do you do? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's not an impulse. $10,000 is not, even over the course of 2 years, is not impulse purchasing. Yeah.
That's a big reason why. Budget, that's a big reason why Clicker Heroes 2 is now, instead of a free to play with microtransactions, it's just a flat $30 purchase price for the game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I gotta see now. I looked at it because I want to play it, but like $30 for like a
Heroes?
For Clicker Heroes, like that's a little steep. Did you play it yet, or what? What like?
No, because it's on PC.
It hasn't come to console yet.
No. If it comes to console, I'll probably give it a shot. I appreciate the fact that there won't be any, buy gems to do this, buy gems to do this, buy gems to do this. Because I've gotten sucked into, fuck it, I'll just drop $5 on it. I'll just drop $5 on it. And that shit adds up. I'm sure I've spent more than $30 on Clicker Heroes over my lifetime.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have no room to talk because I don't even want to think about how much Psionics has for me. I really don't want to think about that.
I have only bought one DLC for Rocket League.
Which one?
The Jurassic Park, because I wanted that fucking T-Rex skull explosion.
Yeah, boy.
I got it too.
And every time, like, if people are talking shit and then we come back and we win or whatever, then I put in chat roar, and it pisses people off so bad, and it's so worth it.
That's what we should do tonight. After we're done recording the show, we should play some Rocket League.
I'm down for that.
I don't know if I'm going to have time.
Chris doesn't love us, but I'm down for that.
Chris, did you just turn down Rocket League?
Dude, I have to drive to New Jersey tomorrow. I also have to attempt to try and see if I can make an appointment to get my car aligned before the drive to New Jersey tomorrow.
Dude, I got to be up at 8 a.m. for a dryer delivery because moving is the most time-consuming process I've ever done in my life.
You're not wrong.
Oh my God, I am so, like, I can't, exhausted isn't a strong enough word anymore for how I feel. I'm sure it comes across really well audio-wise of just how fucking beat I am lately.
I think it does more than you realize. Like, I know when I don't feel well and I'm tired, that it's obvious. I've listened back to shows and I've been like, man, you can. Tomorrow I'm going to listen back to the shit when it goes live and I'm going to be like, wow, I was fucking tired.
I could just hear it in my voice now. I am dead, and I feel bad that, like, this is episode 400 celebration party time, and I'm just like,
Well, you know what? Listen, it only goes to show that there's probably about another 400 to go.
I think that's interesting thought, though. Like, we're not like, it's 400, because we know that we're just going to keep going.
Yep. We're just getting started, motherfuckers.
We're just getting started.
It's another brick in the wall.
Uh-huh.
So, and most people are probably too young to get that reference, but it's okay.
Yeah.
No, now they're just like, and Mexico's gonna pay for it.
That's it. I'm done. Where's the hang up button?
The Wall. It's the greatest album. It's the best album.
The one. My favorite Pink Floyd album has got to be The Wall. I mean, it's the smartest ever. It's the greatest album ever. It's just, it's amazing.
So your problem there is that you actually said Pink Floyd. You should have been like, my favorite Jethro Tull album is The Wall. We don't need no education. Betsy DeVos is going to make sure that we don't get no education.
I'm gonna cry.
I am just a little boy.
Money. Something,
No. It's gotta be Young Lust.
Bullshit.
No, it's gotta be Young Lust.
Grab him by the pussy. Pussy.
My father only gave me a small loan of $1 million.
And we just got a copyright claim. Let's see. What other news is there? Chris, do you do Origin Access on PC?
No, I've contemplated it, but no.
Well, we all know Origin Access is basically like EA Access, but it's the PC version, $5 a month, $30 a year. You heard of the Origin Access Premiere, right?
What's the difference? I forget.
It's like, basically a new tier that lets you play new release titles as well as what's in the vault.
So kind of like the Xbox Game Pass thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
They announced that it will be launching July 30th. It will be $15 a month or $100 for a year. And the 4 games that they mentioned noted that are coming, of course, others are going to be as well, but they got to hype it up with some big titles. Mm-hmm. Madden 19, August 2nd, FIFA 19, September 20th, Battlefield 5, October 11th, Anthem, February 15th. Because we need more shit in February.
February is not busy at all. I don't understand what you're upset about.
How many do you think are going to get delayed?
All of them, but Battlefield.
Let's have a conservative estimate. How many do you think are going to get delayed?
Of those 4?
They're not going to get. No. I meant like all of the ones that are like slated for February.
Oh God.
February.
Because let's be honest.
Let's be honest. Get delayed.
I think Crackdown's getting delayed.
Statistically speaking, there's got to be at least 3 that get delayed. Maybe. I could see Metro getting delayed again. Yep.
I mean, even Paw Patrol got delayed, so anything's possible at this point.
Right.
Wait, what game?
Paw Patrol got delayed.
What the fuck is that?
It's based on the Nickelodeon show for kids. And
oh, Jesus. Was it coming out in February?
No, it was supposed to come out in August, but it got delayed to October, so apparently it's going up against Red Dead Redemption now.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
oh, man.
We know who the winner of that one's going to be.
Paw Patrol, obviously.
I am totally voting Paw Patrol. I'm far more likely to play Paw Patrol than I am Red Dead Redemption. And that's not even a joke, is the sad part.
Paw Patrol Redemption from Carnage.
Can we ban him yet?
Hey, you're the one with the banhammer cane.
Yeah, but you gave him a shield to protect him from me.
Did I? I forgot.
Did I?
I don't know.
Did I?
He has a green bubble of protection that the cane cannot break.
One day it'll happen.
I have dreams.
But Kris, is Origin Access Premiere something that you would be interested in doing? Is that something that is on your radar?
It depends on how hype I get for Battlefield, because I don't think I have enough of an urge to want to play the sports games that I'm going to give a fuck about any of them.
Yeah.
And the only non-sports games that I think I'm going to be genuinely interested in are going to be Battlefield and Anthem. And even that, Anthem, I'm kind of like, if it's cool, all right. I'm not like personally on the hype train just because of how much I got fucking burnt from Destiny 2. So,
no. I don't know. I think BioWare is going to do better than Bungie, though. I think that's the big thing you got to look at.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody thought about when it came to Mass Effect.
Well, Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't the primary BioWare team.
Still, they were still involved.
In a support role.
They were involved, so they were, I mean, like... They still could have been like, hey guys, maybe we should hold this back a little bit.
Maybe we should do a little more work.
Yeah, just a little bit. So
Papa EA is like, no, it goes out now.
Exactly. So I don't know. It could be good, could be bad.
I don't know. We'll find out.
I think it is hard. I think it's hard for a gamer on a budget to justify multiple game subscription services.
No.
And I think the majority of people on PC are only going to be involved with a subscription service if there's enough of a back catalog to make it worth it for people. Because when you have something like Steam that's putting out games for so goddamn cheap, it's hard to justify that like monthly purchase. Unless you know that you're going to get your time out of those games. That's why, like, I feel comfortable with the Xbox Game Pass one, because I know that I'm definitely getting my money's worth as far as like all of the back catalog, because there's like so many different games, and they are rotating a bunch out. there's so many different types of games that I know that there's going to be something in there that I haven't touched yet that I'm going to genuinely be interested in playing. Along with some of the games that I know that I want to play, like, you know, even like Sea of Thieves and, you know, when the new Forza comes out and all that kind of stuff, like I know I'm going to want to play that stuff anyway at launch. So it's great not having to spend $60 on a new game when they initially get launched, because they're just like day one in these subscription services. So I could see the appeal when they have a more extensive back catalog, but
well, I mean, Origin Access has over 100 games in it right now.
Sure, but
and The Sims.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's not just EA games that are in Origin Access. Like they have Darksiders, they have Rime, they have Jotun, they have City Skylines. What the hell else do they have in there? Mad Max is in there. Alwa's Awakening, The Sexy Brutale. Of course, they have EA stuff like Battlefield and Plants vs. Zombies. So they have a huge lineup of games in Origin Access. And when you add in new stuff like Battlefield 5 and like Anthem, I think $100 a year isn't that bad.
No, it's really not. It's just a matter of like, you know, do you want to drop that? I mean, obviously, like, I guess you would compare it to a single collector's edition.
Mm-hmm. Seems worth it to me. I don't know if they brought, I mean, that's like, not that EA bad. Access Premier to console that included games right on release, I would definitely upgrade.
Yeah.
The biggest hitch for me is that most of EA Access, as it currently stands, there's just a lot of sports games there. And if you don't play sports games, you don't feel like you're getting as much value compared to other, you know, like if it's down to I can only pay for one or the other for the, you know, then I would choose Xbox Game Pass over EA Access, which is what I've done, unfortunately. But primarily because, you know, the value isn't necessarily there. But if they upped it to where it was like EA Access Premier, I definitely have a tougher decision to make.
No. Because
then you do have that value, even and still there's still a lot of sports games, but there's the others like Battlefield is something that I would play. Or, you know, if there was a steeper discount on like Sims DLC, then I'd be like, gift please.
Yeah.
I'm horribly addicted to the Sims.
Yeah, but you need that EA access to get the Sims now. $30 a year for the Sims 4.
I mean, it's been a while since I've played Sims. If I were to buy a bunch of the DLC, it would probably come out to that, probably over that, right?
Probably.
Oh,
a lot more.
Yeah.
They have don't they have like $50 expansions for The Sims 4?
Yeah, they do. On Xbox, you could easily pay about $200 just on DLC.
Jesus. Well,
wait,
so no one.
I bought the game
you do
for
the plus,
$25.
I was gonna say, if you do the Origin Access Plus, do you get the DLC and stuff with it too, or no?
No, but you get a discount on it.
Yeah.
Boo, boo, boo.
I think it's like 10 or 15% or something like that.
Hey, that's how they make their money. You're getting 100 games for $5 a month. They got to get their money somewhere.
I mean, it works because when I did have EA Access, I downloaded Peggle 2, and then I bought the DLC for Peggle 2 on sale. So I owned the DLC, but I only had the game while I had EA Access. But I got the complete.
I think I did something similar. I think when I had EA Access, I had something. It might have been for like Plants vs. Zombies or something like that. I bought DLC for it, and I don't even own the game.
I bought a couple of the Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare DLC packs. They're normally $10 for $9. You know, that buck adds up.
Get that $1.
And you get characters and other unlockable shit, and yay. I need to play that more. Shit. Instead of Rocket League, let's play Garden Warfare.
Here's the thing. It is very difficult for me in good faith to go back to something like Garden Warfare when I'm really enjoying the PvE of Fortnite a lot.
What?
Yeah.
You said that and you could tell you were cringing as you said.
I was because so here's the thing. Not everybody wants to hear this, but Fortnite's a good game, okay? And even if you're not into battle royale games, if you pay the admission for the PvE stuff is deep, like really deep. It kind of almost reminds me of like D2 level deep. If not more.
Now I think you're getting excessive. No,
for real. I don't know if you've actually like gone into it and messed around with it, but like
no. I remember when it came out and watching people stream it, and everybody was just like, "What are these giant walls of text?" during the tutorial, and it was just like the learning curve was really high for it. So I get where you're saying, it's deep and stuff, because it really does have.
It's really good. Like it's really good.
I remember getting it for review, and the code that I got, it didn't register as me owning it for like 3 months after I got it, and then by then I just stopped caring. Yeah,
but no, most of the time, like if I casually, even by myself, but most of the time, like that's been the game that I've been hopping into and playing with other people because like. I mean, I wanted something that was PvE, but not like an MMO. It kind of almost like it has like a almost Division-esque type of feel to it as well.
You wash that foulness out of your
Listen.
You're gonna get cut, Kris.
Listen, I say it because I really enjoy the Division, and I'm excited for Division 2, but like. There are there's a lot of similarities between them, and although the presentation may come off like kind of cartoony and childish, like the actual gameplay has so much depth that I think that's why I keep going back to it, and you can feel like a true sense of progression in it.
Okay.
I don't know. I like it's.
I've had zero interest in Fortnite, so I don't know.
I get what you're saying. Just from what I watch people, I get it.
You guys just talking about all this has made me want to play Garden Warfare. That's what we should do.
I don't even have it anymore.
Well, we're going to have to get you EA access.
I guess so.
Anyway, let's see. What other news do I have? I have 2 other bits of news. The first one, 2 games were added to the Xbox backward compatibility list this week with the Silent Hill HD collection and Silent Hill Homecoming.
Cool.
Those are cool. Kris, I know you're excited about them.
I didn't realize those were on Xbox.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll never play them, but that's cool.
And the last bit of news I have is that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 are gone. They have been delisted from all storefronts and all platforms without any prior notice.
Damn.
Really?
Yep.
Rip.
They went bye-bye.
Well, I should have grabbed them when they were available. I'm dumb.
Yeah, they were just on sale, too, for like $15 for the 2 of them.
Yep, I fucked up.
Carnage saying probably Marvel license issues. I'm going to go with Activision. Didn't want to pay to renew it, but as soon as a new Avengers or Marvel movie comes out, they'll be like, hey, let's get it for another year.
And then, hey, let's pay exorbitant amounts of money so that we can make it seem like we had it this whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's what they do. They fucking pay for a year of the license right around when a movie comes out, and people are like, oh man, I would love to play a game with all of my favorite Marvel characters. Oh, look at this. It's on sale for $20. Hooray, let me buy this. And then Activision's like, yeah, boy, money. And then when there's no movie around, they're like, fuck it, let the license expire. Because it's happened to Deadpool a few times.
Mm-hmm.
It just disappears, comes back, disappears, comes back. So who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, that's the news I got.
Is there anything that I know of that happened that I could bring up? Yeah, not really. I think I haven't been like paying attention to much either. So.
Dude, me neither. I haven't. I'm amazed I had that much news for tonight.
Yeah.
Same.
What about you, Cole? Any news for you?
No, there was something earlier. This seems to happen. Like I go on the hunt for news, and then I'm like, I forget to make a note, and then you're like, "Hey, Cole, you got any news?" I'm like, "No."
No.
Helpful.
I know it. Look, I do the best I can.
Oh, man. Well, Kris, I guess we'll let you get going. We're going to jump into our reviews portion now, and I know you don't really care about those.
Yeah, I mean, I also have to
Get your
out.
iPad working.
Gotta download that.
I think I have.
That porn.
I think I have. Yeah. I think I have the important stuff on there now. But now I have to pack a bag for the weekend and make some food to take with me, since I'm not going to be able to just grab anything.
Good stuff.
Yep. Adulting.
Yay!
Tell Ashley that I'm still down to give you guys this couch.
Yeah, we just got to figure out when we could get a truck again.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are going to be the only days that I'm going to be in town anymore.
Damn.
Yeah. At least consistently.
What, with the band now?
Yeah.
Remember when you left the band because you never had time to do anything?
Yeah. You remember that time when I was so broke that I was contemplating selling off my equipment? Yeah.
Ah, boy. Kris, what are we going to do with you?
Take me out back and shoot me. God.
Oh, Swizzlers has news. He said Minecraft beta 1.6.0.8 is out today with a lot of bug fixes. So,
didn't they just do a thing recently where it was they added a bunch of aquatic shit? I haven't been paying that much attention to it, but I think they just released a super big patch recently.
I know some kind of aquatic update came out. I don't follow Minecraft though, so
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
see,
Cole, do you?
Here's how I like to treat.
What's a Minecraft?
Here's how I like to treat my relationship with Minecraft. I actually really enjoy the game. I enjoy it a lot. However, what I like to do is I like to play it and go crazy on it for a little bit, and then ignore the game like it doesn't exist for a good period of time, so that when I go back to it, all of the new shit that they've changed since the last time I played it feels almost like a completely different game.
That's one way to do it.
So it kind of rekindles my enjoyment of it every single time, you know?
Doc Havoc, Minecraft, the game where you craft stuff to mine stuff to craft with.
Exactly.
Is that what my kids talk about all the time?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have Minecraft on every device in this house except for the Xbox One. And the reality is that I'm just really fucking tired of buying Minecraft. And I refuse to get it on the one. I don't care how many times number one begs me for it. I don't care how many times number two and number three beg for it. I'm not buying it again. We have it on Android. We have it on the 360. We have it on Windows 10. And I'm just done. I'm not buying Minecraft again. We even have Minecraft on the Raspberry Pi.
Why?
Because you can.
It's on there. Yeah, it's just on there when you install it already. When you install the Raspberry Pi operating system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
they bake it in.
Yeah.
Christ, even I have Minecraft on the Xbox One and you don't?
I don't. And I refuse to buy it.
I rebought it.
I've
got it on everything. I've got it on PC. I've got it on Xbox. I've got it on Switch. I've got it on my tablet. I've got it on my phone.
Well, that means you can play with yourself then, Kris.
I can do it 5 times.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Kris, we're going to let you get going. Thank you so much for joining and being part of this landmark 400th episode. 400th.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
You got to come back more. It's always fun when you're on.
Look, dude, like I said, I'm shocked that I'm here.
Me too.
I'm really surprised that I got here in time.
I'm shocked that I'm here too. So Cole, you're going to have to keep your review shorter tonight.
Okay.
No 20 minutes per game.
Shit.
All right, have fun, you two.
All right, take it easy, Kris. Have a good one.
All right, see
Bye,
ya.
Kris.
Bye.
Oh man. So are you going to be okay doing shorter reviews? Can you handle that?
You mentioned that 20 minutes per review thing, and the funny thing is that I purposely try to limit myself to only writing one page about each game. And I had trouble.
Oh no.
Like, I was writing in the margins to try to get away from having to turn the page.
Well, if I fall asleep during any of the reviews, it's on you to take care of the rest of the show.
Got this.
But first game that we're going to talk about tonight is called Gene Rain, developed by Deeli Network, published by E-Home Entertainment, released July 24th on Xbox One for $24.99. Gene Rain is a next-gen 3D third-person shooter game. The story is set in a futuristic world with a linear narrative structure and uses shocking visual effects to present a brand new world for the player's enjoyment. Cole, what is this game?
This is the one where I had to write in the margins.
Okay. So we're starting off good.
We're on a roll already. So you basically covered the majority of the game right there. In as far as anybody could actually tell you anything else about it. It is third person. It is a shooter. The controls are very similar to, say, Gears of War. And the game does not tell you jack shit about that. It tells you basically, how to like hide behind cover and stuff, and you're supposed to kind of play like it's a cover shooter. And that's about where that ends. You're supposed to play like that, but the enemies will kind of just bum rush you for no good reason. Like, they'll be behind cover for a little while, and then all of a sudden they run up to you, and then they stand by you, and then they turn around and run away from you. I don't know what's going on with the AI in this game. And unfortunately, I'm going to tell you that despite playing it, I don't know what's going on with a lot of this game. It's genuinely odd. You can tell there's a lot of translation errors. E-Home Entertainment and the developers for this, they're based in China. And so there's a lot of localization issues. The story, I'm laughing because it's there seems to be some really like interesting notes to the story, but it's so broken and fragmented in how it's told that it's really hard to actually follow it and understand what's going on. Basically, there's 3 playable characters, and from that point, everything just gets really fuzzy. It's kind of like they use Google Translate to put the game in English, and so
they might have.
If they did not, I'm surprised. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that it's a bad thing. Because you just have some really weird broken fragments as far as like the sentences go, and there's something about a memory black hole, and then there's like they keep using the term gene rain, but they don't ever actually explain what the gene rain was, why it's a thing, why you should care it was a thing. There's just so many questions.
I will say, you talking about the localization just makes me want to play it more.
It's it's one of those situations where it's so bad it's kind of fun. and you
story-wise or gameplay-wise?
Story-wise. Gameplay, the gameplay is sadly kind of bad as well. And unfortunately, to the point it does get frustrating. It's not unbeatable or game breaking. It's just that it's just sometimes you're just standing there going, why doesn't this work? I cannot tell you how many times I slammed on the X button hoping and praying to reload, and then it just would kick. And I don't know, that's if it did anything. And then apparently the game never tells you, but the reload button is actually LB. and at that, like, by the time I figured it out, I was already almost to the end.
Oh God.
I was just like,
proud of you.
I was purposely just shooting and emptying clips so that I could reload and have full ammunition the next time. Because the game never just pops up and explains, hey, this is the button you actually need to be hitting, jackass. Each of the characters you play have a special ability, and at no point does it actually say, this is the button to push for the ability, this is what the ability does, this is how much energy it uses. Beware, if you use your energy for the special ability, you can't sprint.
Weird.
It never tells you that. You use up your energy for the special ability, you can't run anymore. And so then you're just stuck, just trudging along, and you're like, okay.
So basically the game could do with some more explanation in it.
Yes, but then I'm so afraid of how they would have tried to explain it that we would end up with memory black holes and gene rain that we don't understand. It is really just one of those games. Like, I don't mean to dump on it, and I know I go into the tangents all the time about how I feel bad when I rag on a game. And this is another case, because visually, the game is surprisingly pretty. It is not quite the amazing spectacle that it appears to be. Like, it's one of those, it's pretty on the surface, don't get too close to the textures kind of games. Whereas, you're like, wow, the character models are really creative and they're really well done. And then you walk up to a wall and it kind of looks like somebody just photoshopped a picture of a brick. Like they went to Google Images, typed in brick wall, and then just copied that. Like, there's no texture. You know how sometimes you play a game and you go up and you look at a wall and you're like, wow, you can actually see like the texture of the brick. It's just a smooth, flat, shiny surface with a picture of a brick.
Oh shit! I'm going to interrupt you because Vertically Impaired just subscribed for his 5th month in a row.
5 months of making bad decisions.
5 months.
You might want to talk to somebody about that. Thank you, though.
Has some problems. But basically what you're telling me is, like, this seems to be the more budget-friendly version of Gears of War.
In a sense. But, I mean, it's just some of the issues. There are bigger issues. Like, yeah, okay, you rag on the textures or whatever. The studio actually says that on an Xbox One X, this is supposed to run at 4K 30 frames per second or 1080p 60 frames per second. On an Xbox One, which I assume also for the One S because they didn't specify, it's supposed to run at 720 pixels and 45 frames per second, or 900 pixels, 30 frames per second. I don't know that I was ever actually getting that many frames per second. It was very laggy and sluggish, especially during some of the heavier action cutscenes. The audio volumes, they just bounce all over the place. They'll be really high at one point, really low another. You may even turn around. Like, there's some moments where there's just straight up no audio. Like, you can shoot a rocket and there is no sound feedback at all. You're like, okay, that's the thing. This is an eerily silent moment while you're shooting. There's one other major problem, which I didn't actually experience. I don't play games inverted. So this was one I actually saw through other people, and I did some research, and it was a pretty frequent, common thing people were complaining about, is that it doesn't save your inverted setting. So you're playing as one character, it's inverted, and then it switches to another character, and it just kind of randomly uninverts whenever it feels like it. So that seems to be, an actual issue that I just would have skipped out because I don't play inverted, so I didn't notice. But it is a big deal for some people.
I need my inverts.
Yeah, if it's just flipping around randomly, that's kind of problematic. The controls are clunky. There's a lot of times where you're trying to tell it to do one thing and it just won't do what you're saying. One of my biggest complaints was, I don't mind the whole click to sprint thing. A lot of games that are shooters tend to do that, and so I don't mind it. I'm kind of used to it. But I could click to sprint, and he might sprint for 3 steps, and then stop. And then I'm like, what are you doing? Why aren't you moving? There's aliens to shoot. So it was just, for the sake of the story and stuff, like I said, it's one of those that's so bad it's good, and you can forgive it because of the whole translation humor. Mm-hmm. But for the actual gameplay, and for the fact that the frames were a little, they definitely didn't hit the resolutions and frames per second benchmarks that the developers are claiming, I feel really bad when I say deny it.
Damn.
Yeah, like at least if you caught it on sale and you wanted a good laugh and knew what you were getting into, then maybe. But otherwise, most people, they're not going to enjoy this. And that's a shame because, like I said, the character models and stuff and what you can catch of the story is really interesting, but it's just kind of, it needs some work. And I'm sad.
It's still going to be on my wish list. I think it looks pretty interesting. I might wait for a sale. The $25 price tag is, I have a feeling if it were like $20 or maybe even $15, it'd be a lot easier to swallow.
Right. Yeah. And that is one of the things, given that it does need as much polish as it does, it makes it a little harder to just choke down $25. And I'm sad because I know that this kind of a game, a blockbuster style shooter is not cheap to make. Yeah. And so, to say, hey, wait till it's on sale when you already know that they've mortgaged 5 houses to pay for it or whatever, it's hard to give a game that kind of rating. And I am sad about it. But because I had fun, but I had fun in that, wow, this is bad kind of way. So, and you have fun like that, knowing that you're gonna have to come on the show and be like,
it happens.
It does. I'm sorry to the devs, but honesty is the best policy. And maybe they'll patch it. Who knows?
Maybe if it gets patched or sees any kind of big updates, obviously more than happy to take another look at the game. But,
I have been known to replay shit because of updates, so yeah. I will do it.
But next game to talk about is called Candle, The Power of the Flame, developed by Teku Studios, published by Merge Games, released July 24th on PS4, 25th on Xbox, 26th on the Switch for $19.99. Candle is an adventure with challenging puzzles. Play as Teku, a young novice on a dangerous journey to rescue his tribe's shaman from the evil tribe of the Wakcha. I think it is.
I believe it is.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But the way is littered with sinister traps and difficult obstacles. Cole, tell us about this one.
So this is a 2D puzzle with a little bit of platforming, and it's not like Super Meat Boy platforming, but there's a little bit of climbing around in the world to be done. The most notable thing about this game right out of the gate is that it's fucking gorgeous. and that's not even like enthusiastic enough to get through how much I love the aesthetic of this game. It is hand painted. It is watercolor. If you were a fan of the art direction in Cuphead, where everything was hand done in watercolor, then you're gonna definitely want to grab a hold of this game for just on sheer looks alone. It is beautiful. I hope I am inspired by this world to do some of my own paintings, because it's just that, like, I sat just looking at the backgrounds and the environment and the character models because it's just so pretty.
So it's a good looking game, basically.
Yes. Moving from that, though.
How's the actual game?
The game, it plays fantastically. It is a little slower moving if you're one of those people who gets agitated, if you can't just like run through everything super lightning speed. If you're going a little slower, it bums you out, then take that into consideration, because Teku does move pretty damn slow. You can hold the trigger and make him run a little faster, though, but it's still pretty damn slow. The world is basically set up with several puzzles that you will encounter as you guide Teku to using his ability to hold a flame. while he tries to, like you said in the summary, basically, to try to find the they pronounce it shaman. Have I been pronouncing shaman wrong forever?
I'm sure either one works.
They say shaman in the game, so I'm going to try to stick with that, even though I'll probably not. He's trying to find the shaman for his tribe. After they've been attacked, they've destroyed his village. There's only a few of his people left, and so he goes on this grand adventure to try to, find what's remaining of his people and help them out the best he can, and try to set things right after this rival tribe has just really fucked the world over for them. He is an apprentice shaman himself. He has the ability to use flame.
You said it wrong.
Did I? I said shaman.
No, you didn't.
God damn it. Anyway, he's an apprentice himself.
I'm stealing this from Carnage. For shaman.
I'm done with the reviews now.
$20. What's your verdict? No.
So he's an apprentice himself, so he has the ability to pick up flame throughout the world and use it, manipulate it for some of these puzzles. The biggest drawback to this, and this is where the beautiful environments also kind of come into play in a negative light, is that there's not really any distinction in key items or interactive pieces of the world. And so you can find yourself just staring at screens for fucking ever and have no idea what you're supposed to do. This is one of those games where the puzzles aren't really intuitive. And so you can kind of just get really frustrated before you finally manage to accidentally hit the one right thing and get to move on. It's pretty rare. I feel like I'm always sounding braggy when I say this shit, but it's kind of rare for me to get stuck in puzzle games. I tend to just roll through them fairly easily. And there were times
super rare for me to get stuck in puzzle games.
I play a lot of them, though. The mechanics can only do so much. But this one, there are times where I was just like, the fuck am I getting squashed by this boulder 97 times for? Because I just could not figure out what to do. And then once you do it, though, you're like, and I'm not going to give away the solution. Good luck. Figure out the boulder on your own, bastards. Once you finally do it, though, like there's a serious sense of accomplishment, but you also go, wow, I'm dumb. It took me forever to see what should have been an obvious answer. But it is satisfying. I know. It is satisfying once you do finally overcome it and get to move on. But it would be nice if some items you will come across in like a little, there's no dialogue between Teku and the other tribes or anything like that. But it will come up with like a little picture-in-picture kind of, not quite like a speech bubble. It'll be a little larger round circle, and it'll kind of show you different things to give you hints. But it doesn't really help with the actual like overall puzzles. It'll be something like, oh, this animal likes this food to accomplish this task, as opposed to being like, this is where you can find the damn honey, dumbass. That honey and that boulder are the bane of my existence right now. But it's still an incredible experience. In the narrative and the storytelling, there's a narrator, and the voice actor for this is so perfectly cast that it's not even funny. Like, he sounds like the classic movie time narrator where you're watching a cartoon as a child, and it's just soothing bedtime story kind of voice. And it is incredible. And I'm just like, I want to trigger that cutscene again just so I can hear him tell me that story. Because it is really good, and it just all flows together. The soundtrack and just the ambience of the audio, it all really flows together very well. If it just weren't so frustrating.
The overall sounds pretty good. So $20 on this one. What do you think of it?
This is a buy it. I really do enjoy this one. I hope more people pick it up and play it, because I have not seen enough people talking about this yet.
Well, it did just come out, so that might be why.
Yeah, but the embargo was up for it last week. So people need to say something. This is a good game. Talk about it. And also, please tell me where the honey is.
Oh, God. All right, we got some guest reviews to take care of. Pretend I'm editing and have a witty segue or something, so go to those. All right, moving on, we got some guest reviews to take care of, and we are leading things off as usual. Tim Ekkebus, how are you doing today, sir? Getting the hot tag.
Hot tag into the ring. Ha ha!
How you doing?
Clothesline. I'm good. Let's say I'm good. I'm having a good, decently good week.
You're a wrestling fan. Did you see my bald head when SmackDown was on and I was there?
Oh no, I rarely. You were on last week's.
Yeah.
I read good things about this week's show. I guess last week's was pretty good too. Build to SummerSlam off to a good start.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's coming up in a few weeks.
God, I need to talk more wrestling. I don't talk enough wrestling on this show.
Hey, we said we were going to do the big shows, but then E3 was the week of Money in the Bank, so...
Yeah, E3's a son of a bitch.
You might not have an excuse this time. There's no E3 in the middle of August, so we could do a SummerSlam takeover Brooklyn show.
I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
Yeah, obviously NXT is fucking cooking right now after this week, which I haven't watched yet, but everybody knows what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil anything. Don't want to spoil anything.
If you haven't watched the show from yesterday, but yeah, or didn't like read the damn crap on Twitter or whatever. Anyways.
That bald fuck. Anyway. First game that we're talking about with you, well, the only game we're talking about with you, but the first guest review before we jump back to our usual programming is called Semblance, developed by Nyamakop, I hope.
That's South African developed game on a Nintendo platform.
Wow, really?
Yeah, almost the first African developed. Apparently, I looked into this a bit. There were like some like Ubisoft studio in like Morocco did like some development on some games back like on the Wii or GameCube, but like like fully developed first like African game.
Wow.
Boom.
I still hope I said their company name right.
Sure.
I'm guessing I didn't.
I don't know.
Developed by Nyamakop, published by Good Shepherd Entertainment, released July 24th on the Switch and Steam for $9.99. Semblance is an innovative platformer with deformable terrain set in a beautiful minimalist world. It's a game that asks, what if you could deform and reshape the world itself? Semblance takes the idea of a platform in a platformer and turns it on its head. Tim, tell us about this one.
So yeah, this game is kind of a action-y, puzzly game. You have the game broken out and there's like 3 worlds with a bunch of like little discrete stages within each world, and each little stage has like these little orb things you need to collect in order to move on. And yeah, as you alluded to in the summary there, the kind of the gimmick of this game is you're this little ball whose name is Squish, I've gathered, which is very appropriate because he's squishy. But you can deform the environment. Most pieces of the environment. There's some things that you can't, mess with, of course, but pieces of the environment to make like platforms and ledges and use those abilities to get you to what you need to get to, and kind of platform around and solve the puzzles. So yeah, like your character, you get like a little dash move, which you can dash up in like any of the cardinal directions. So it's like if you jump and you slam into a wall, it'll make an indent in the wall, and then you then have a little foothold on that wall. So you can then jump away from the wall and up and then slam back into the wall. Oh, you made a little foothold a little bit higher. So that's a really easy way to scale up a wall. Or if there is something high up, say you get under a platform and then you smash your head into it a few times, you can make a nice little spike in it. So that way you can go up on the spike and then jump a little higher than you needed to. That's like the most basic engagement of these abilities. Itchy. And if the platforms you kind of carve or smash out aren't, quite where they need to be, you just push a button and it just will reset that object, not the entire world, like just that piece of it.
That's cool.
It is cool. Like the game goes a good way to not being tedious with stuff. Like there are hazards, and if you die, it just puts your squish kind of back at the beginning of that screen. It doesn't like reset everything, so you have to like redo all the platforms you made if you like misjudged a jump at like the last moment or something like that, or touched a spike. It's just like, okay, all your platforms are there, just try it again and don't screw up this time. hazards might appear in the favor of spikes, the aforementioned, kind of the plot of this game is that you and your little squishy friends in the woods are getting overtaken by this crystalline infection, which is covering things and kind of absorbing all your friends into it. So there'll be little spots of crystals on things, and if you touch them, you become crystallized and you are then dead. That is a death. There are lasers, the always reliable lasers, which will kill you. Yeah, so you might need to knock some. If there's one shooting horizontally, you might like knock up the ground in a way such that a laser is blocked. There are things. There's like these things. Oh god, I don't know. There's different mechanics that it introduces. There's ways you can kind of deform your character into different shapes that will give it slightly different abilities. There's like these lasers, which if they touch something that you have deformed, it will reset it. So if you're trying to climb something, you need to try to keep that in mind. So it doesn't like if it's floating back and forth, it doesn't touch your thing and screw up your progress. There's a way in which there's some fun applications of that. I guess I'll just say a lot of this game doesn't need to be over explained. What you need to know is this game is fun. Let's get that out here first. This is a really fun little puzzle platformer. Like the mechanics of smash around platforms are fun and innovative, and it does like a really, really good job throughout the game. And it's not a terribly long game, and I'll get to that. It's constantly introducing new stuff, but it does it in a really smart way. Like it teaches you the new mechanics in really it's just really good about teaching you new mechanics and helping you figure out what you need to do gradually. Like there was one stage, and some you can kind of tell a little more than others are like, this is here to teach you some shit. And there was one puzzle that I was just stuck on. I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm just going to go on to the next one. And I went on to the next one, and I immediately recognized elements of the previous puzzle. And I'm like, oh, I have to learn something. So I went back to the previous one. I looked at it. I'm like, okay, what the hell is this game trying to tell me right now? And then figured it out. And then the next puzzle wasn't so bad. At no point did I get majorly stuck. Usually if I started to get frustrated, I could feel it, and I just kind of put the game down, walk away. And it's one of those things where I'd come back and I'd solve the puzzle that I was stuck on in like a couple minutes. It's one of those sorts of deals.
Sometimes you just need to clear your head and take a second look at it.
Absolutely. But it's very good about teaching concepts and mechanics. So I was like never super frustrated. I was never super stuck with it, which is scary when you're like reviewing a pre-release game and you can't just like Google shit. Like the only option we have is to like go crying to the developers and be like, our idiot reviewer is stuck on this puzzle. Could you help his dumb ass? And like, you never want to be that guy. Yeah, but it constantly introduces new stuff. Like there's objects that can't be manipulated. Like I said, lasers. There is a clever like kind of trampoline jumping mechanic, squishing your squish into different shapes, which comes into play. Yeah, there's like 3 worlds, and then kind of like the last level is like a big like multi-layered thing, which makes you use all your knowledge. And like I said, it's not a super long game. I mean, this game's only $10. And it took me like somewhere between 3 and 4 hours to finish it out. There are what appear to be a collectible scattered around each level. Like there's these mosquitoes that will be flying in like out of the way places, which I kind of assume like, oh, if you collect a bunch of these, something will happen. But nowhere did I see it tracked, and couldn't quite figure out what they did. But that seems to be the only thing as far as like extended play beyond just solving the puzzles. I feel like it could have used maybe just like a simple time attack mode or something, just to encourage some replay. But, as it is, it's $10 for a 3 to 4 hour, like super fun puzzle game. And it's got a really cool art style. Like if you just look at a trailer, like it has a distinct art style, which makes use of like, it's really the color palette, which uses kind of like, these purples and light greens, and just colors you don't normally see like saturating your video games, which is just nice and refreshing to look at. Pretty minimalist, like sound design. I don't really recall there being much of the way. There's like a few little musical cues, but it's mostly just kind of ambience of the levels. But yeah, that's it. I mean, like, it's a really fun little game, man.
Nice. So $10 on this one. What's your official verdict?
Yeah. This is an easy recommendation. Like, I don't love, like, I have a weird time with puzzle games, where, I don't know. It's just like sometimes they're like I only want to think so hard, I don't want to like be racking my brain on every single stage. I want like Portal is like the ideal, right? It's very charming, like the solution, it makes you work your brain, but I never thought anything in Portal was too tough personally. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, this is not a game about, where it's like, oh my God, there's hundreds of puzzle levels. It doesn't like exhaust itself and its concepts. Like, everything feels fresh. Nothing feels tedious. It feels, I'm left wanting a little bit more than like feeling like it dragged on a little bit too long, which I consider a good thing. So yeah, I totally recommend it. Absolutely.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Tim, always good having you on, chatting about this kind of stuff and chatting wrestling as well. Do you have any final thoughts to sum it up?
Man, I thought of like about a half dozen Semblance puns, but it's just a good game. So I'm good. I'm going to leave it alone.
All right, next game to talk about is called Food Fantasy, released July 20th on iOS and Android by Alex Wireless as a free-to-play game with in-app purchases. Inspired by hundreds of recipes from around the world, a group of world-renowned artists and voice actors have brought food to life, giving them unique personalities, stories, looks, and designs. In-game, you'll be able to engage in combat with your food souls, collect ingredients, develop recipes, and create your very own world-class restaurant. Checking this one out, Jacob Garner, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, how about you, man?
I'm in the middle of a move. How the fuck do you think I'm doing?
I don't know. I mean, the move's kind of crappy, but at the same time, the Xbox sale's going, so, that's kind of sexy.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I've picked up some nice stuff.
Like what?
So, well, Joe, thank you for asking. I got the Power Rangers beat 'em up. I, under the advice of the actual Xbox Twitter crew, I got the Hellblade game because that looks hella tight.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, like just based on the trailer, I was like, oh man, this looks insane. I got the Dead Island 2-pack and, crud, what was the other thing I got? I don't remember. But anyway, so yeah, it's so far so good. It's totally been worth it.
So how is Food Fantasy?
Food Fantasy, well, it's, as you said, it's an RPG, but also like a time management kind of game. So it's, I guess you'd think of it as like Final Fantasy meets like Diner Dash kind of thing.
Interesting.
It is an interesting concept. It's also by far the most busy free-to-play game that I've played yet. Because, all right, so part of the game is you unlocking the different food souls, which are all these different characters. Like there's tiramisu, there's coffee, there's rice, there's all these different things. Each one of them can fight or they heal, all this other kind of stuff. And so you have to go through the land and defeat all these bad guys, which include rogue pieces of sushi or the person in this one I found kind of questionable. It was the personification of bulimia, which I was I was just guys, this is kind of messed up, but all right, I'll run with it. So there's that, but then at the same time, you're also supposed to be running your own restaurant. So you have to come up with all these recipes, and they start you off with French fries, but then you move up to squid and pork roll and stuff like that. And so you have to keep your customers happy. You have to kick out the unruly customers. At the same time, you have to make sure that all your food souls are fed, because they're waiting tables, they're cooking all the stuff. One of them's the manager, all that other kind of stuff. But of course, their energy depletes over time, and you have to give them these special potions and stuff like that to get their energy back up. Because it's not just as simple as taking them out, and letting them rest, or there's no Poke Center in this RPG. But then, so this is where the free-to-play stuff comes in. You can unlock characters over time. Like, you'll get money and you can use it to summon new food souls and stuff like that. Or you can, like, buy shards and, like, eventually, like, if you buy enough shards, you'll be able to unlock the character. And then if you buy more, you can level them up. It's pretty standard stuff. Like, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes operates the same way. Like, so do DC and Marvel's similar stuff. But then you also have to buy the potions this way, which is really how they start getting you, because like the first 10 levels, like first off, this game is all over the place, which is also another issue with it. But so hold that thought on it for me, Joe. I'll get back to that later.
Okay.
So you have to buy all these potions and stuff like that to make sure that your restaurant's running. Otherwise, your waiters can't wait tables anymore. Nobody's going to come into your restaurant, even though like your cook's still making food. But of course, if the cook is exhausted, the cook's not going to make any food. And so eventually you're going to get to the point where you don't have any more of these things. And then you either have to go to a land to get the necessary ingredients to make these potions, or you have to just amazingly enough buy them from the store. And so that's how they actually get you really early on. But then there's all sorts of other stuff that you can do, like you can decorate the restaurant, but of course you can't like renovate it or decorate it until after you've reached a certain level. Like there's certain lands that you'll need to be able to go to get certain stuff, but of course you can't do that until you've reached a certain level. Like you're getting, as you can tell, like you can't do a lot until you've reached a certain height. And of course, the game makes it so like, of course you only can progress so far unless you start shelling out the money. Man. Yeah. So it's standard free to play in that. However, there was a hiccup for all of us iOS users about halfway, because when did you give me the code? Like the beginning of July?
Something like that.
Yeah. Halfway through July, they lost all of our data. Like something happened. Yeah, something happened. And so like everybody on iOS, like we lost all of our stuff, and they're just like, oh, well, you're just going to have to start up a new game. Here's a bunch of stuff to get you started, like restarted again. But what kills me is that I had also been given a code by, the game developers, as to like as a boost for our reviewers and stuff like that. Well, that code went away, as soon as like back in the beginning of July, and when everything reset, I no longer had those items again. So then I had to I had to restart at the not only did I have to restart at the very beginning, but I didn't even have the stuff to like, push things along. So there's that. However, there's already people that I've run into that are already up at like level 27, which I don't know how they did it without paying. So either that or else they're playing this on Android or something.
Or they paid.
Right, or they paid, which is highly more likely. But yeah, as I was saying, going back to the game's all over the place. When you first start, it's just like, oh, well, here's how you battle. Here's how you do this. Oh, also, here's your restaurant. You need to start running this. Oh, you better like learn how to make the food and get the customers and do this and do this and do this and do this. And honestly, if I wasn't used to playing these kind of games already, I would have just been like, screw this, I'm done.
So it's a bit intimidating.
There's a huge curve when you first start. Yeah, and there's a lot of intimidation, and the game doesn't really reference itself, like, again, because I've noticed that, like, you can find the help manuals, like, if you start digging within the game, but then it's not like, did you get all that? Like, like, would you like us to repeat it again? Like, that doesn't exist. So if you don't know where to, like, dig for the stuff, you're just like, well, I guess I'm gonna go at it alone. But the thing is that I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. As I don't want to call it frustrating, but it's definitely it's the most time-consuming free-to-play game I've played since Mobile Strike. And the only reason why Mobile Strike was as time-consuming as it was is because I was in a guild that was full of all these people who like would throw $1,000 a day at this game without a second thought.
Good Lord.
Oh yeah, the people, in my old guild in Mobile Strike, they were all these like crazy rich entrepreneurs who would just they would just dump money in the game because they were bored and all their businesses ran themselves. It was amazing. It was insane. At the same time, I didn't have to do anything because they were just giving me all the stuff I needed to build stuff. But anyways, we're supposed to be talking about food fantasy.
Yeah, but
so it's just it's very daunting, but I guarantee that if you're willing to stick through it and I'm sure that somebody's got an FAQ in the works up online. If you're willing to at least find a group online that is also playing this, I think it's a pretty rewarding RPG, all things considered. I really like the art. The voice acting's okay. They definitely got a lot of different voice actors for it, and that is pretty nice. But there is little things here and there, the curve at the very beginning. Also, as I said, the personification of bulimia, which I think is that's kind of questionable. It's weird and questionable, and I don't think it's to the point where I'm kind of is this really appropriate? But whatever. So, in final, I'd recommend it. I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. So
yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Jacob, always somewhat of a pleasure having you on chatting about this stuff.
Yeah, I only deal with you so I can get free games.
You're such a dick.
Finally, I get to be the dick.
All right, speaking of dicks, back to us. Is that what you were looking for? Speaking of dicks?
Yes.
Speaking of dicks.
It's amazing.
Oh man, next game to talk about is called The Outpost 9 Episode 1, developed by Benji Bates, published by Sedoc LLC, released July 27th on Steam for $4.99. The Outpost 9 Episode 1 is a visual novel / point-and-click hybrid game following the small skeleton crew of The Outpost, a lonely mining facility set on the small moon Cobalt Paradise. Dark Mika covered this one, wrote in her review, and this is what she's got to say. The Outpost 9 is a lot of genres smashed together, so let's go through this bit by bit. First off, it's a kinetic visual novel overall, which means you just read, no choices, but between those parts, there's some various other types of gameplay. This first episode out of a planned 3 has 2 chapters. In the first chapter, there's a small top-down point-and-click style game between the visual novel areas, and in the second chapter, there's a top-down escape the room type game that mixes in some alien isolation hide style gameplay, an interesting and well-odd mashup of genres. The setting of the game is that you're a group on a mining platform in space. You're setting it up more or less for the people who are going to work there. Oh, and they'll be there in a couple of weeks. You bring in a ship that has an SOS, and then that would be spoilers. You'll find out. Ha ha ha. Reminds me a mix of both the original Alien and the Abyss films. The visuals are all tinted green, kind of like it's show in lots of old sci-fi films. Weird wording there. The art style during the visual novel part show the characters and is fairly well made. It's funny because it still plays like it's on a sci-fi screen, so they're all still green tinted. It even includes the occasional glitchy display that pulls a fragment of the screen to the side and then flicks back to normal, and the lines that run down the screen. So it has that scratchy film style look to it.
Mm-hmm.
The top-down parts are both viewed as the floor plan with the green dot indicating where the character is. In this mode, you get to choose various options. Use inventory item, talk, move, and investigate, which tells you about stuff around you and allows you to interact with the items in that area. In this episode, maybe all of them, I'm not sure, you play as the captain. I forgot his name, honestly, but that's only because the game is less than 2 hours long. You have a crew as well. None of them are interacted with outside the visual novel part, so they're fairly forgetful. Black man and woman, an Asian woman, a Scot, I think 2 white men and a white woman, so it's a fairly diverse group, and I get a very 60s, 70s vibe from them because of the way they act and talk. Talking is all text-based, no voice acting. There's not a lot in the way of music either. It's mostly slight static noises with bleeps from typed words or bleeps from the motion detector you get in the second chapter. Game is $5 on Steam, and that payment is just for this episode. I think the episode was 1 to 2 hours long. I think it's worth it. It was an interesting mashup of genres. It wasn't very hard either, and its story was kind of cool. Really, blah, 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 blah.
Nailed it.
Totally
Dicks.
nailed it. Speaking of dicks, its story was kind of cool, really familiar for anyone who grew up on sci-fi films. So yeah, I think it's perfectly acceptable price for the game. I can't wait for the next episode myself. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Does sound good, especially for only $5.
Yep.
Cool. Final game to talk about tonight on this marathon 400th episode of the show is Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition, the Card Warriors, developed by Stage Clear Studios, published by Head Up Games, released July 25th on Xbox One for $7.99. Followed the invitation by the owner of the largest casino in Las Vegas and godfather of the local most influential crime family, and face the other participants in a face-off game of cards. Only the best will fly to Vegas and challenge the godfather himself in a final match. Cole, what is this game?
Wait, first, before I tell you, I want you to say the game name 5 times fast.
No, that's not happening. Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition, the Card Warrior. Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition, the Card Warrior. Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition, the Card Warriors. Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition, the Card Warriors. Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo Edition, the Card Warriors. Blow me. What is this game?
Next, you got to do it with a carrot chip in your teeth.
Using my fingers close enough.
So this game is essentially just blackjack. That's the long and short of it, and it doesn't need to be anything over the top more. You have 3 modes of blackjack. The first is a tournament mode, single player. They consider it combat. Even when you start a round, there's a voice actor that goes, fight! And, it's kind of funny.
If you couldn't tell by the name, it is very much influenced by Street Fighter 2.
Yes, but blackjack.
Yes.
Cards. You have, when you first start up single player combat, there are 10 characters that you can choose from. You can pick any one of them. Realistically, if you're going for the achievement here, you're going to want to beat the campaign with every single one of them at least once. I think you may have to beat it with some of them twice even, though, for all the stories. Each character does have a story. They have a reason for why they're on this mission. There's a little bit of stereotyping going on with some of these characters, though.
A little, very much in the vein of Street Fighter. Again.
Yeah, it's kind of amusing. You feel a little bad for laughing at it, but the Colombian with the sugar in the boxes, armed AK-47 wielding bodyguards, you know what they're getting at, and it ain't sugar. It's funny, but you feel bad for laughing at it.
Coffee. Very clearly, it's coffee.
Totally. Poppy seeds. You basically get 10 rounds to go against your opponent. You also have to go against the dealer, though. And you just play blackjack. You make your bet, you get your cards, you decide, are you going to split? Are you going to stay? Are you going to hit? If you know how to play blackjack, you're already like 95% of the way through this game. Yeah. Good on you. It's simple. It's no frills. It's got some really neat pixel art, honestly. It's really well done.
Great chip style music.
Yeah, and it feels good to play. You know that it's if you're taking it a little tongue in cheek. Basically, like I said, you play through 10 rounds. The first person to bust loses the competition. Your chips are basically your life bar. And if you hit 0, you're out. And it's free play though. You press continue and you just do that shit again until you finally beat it.
Which that actually leads to one of my gripes with the game. Mm-hmm. Is the free play makes it way too easy to just cheese the game. What I ended up doing was on round 1, I I would go all in. And if I lost, I would just replay it. If I won, I would just go minimum bets the rest of the game and cheese my way to victory.
It's funny that you did the whole all in because I didn't even go all in. I just did minimum bets the whole time and let the AI fuck themselves. And they will. And like, I lost maybe 2 matches in the 3 or 4 playthroughs that I did. And I was like, okay. You can totally just sit back, press A every now and then, and let the AI knock their own selves out. Because they'll go hard on like a 14.
And that's because you bet before you get cards.
Yes, that's how you play blackjack, Joe. So in addition to the single player combat, there's also just what they call simple blackjack, I think it is, where you just play against the dealer and only deal with the dealer. There's no opponent. It's just UV dealer, and don't bust is basically your goal.
Yeah, and it's just blackjack.
Even with that one, if you bust, it's not game over. It just spins a wheel and it decides an arbitrary random chip number to give you to start over so you can keep going. So there's no, like penalty for actually busting out here. Then in addition to that, there's the party mode. So this is where it's local co-op up to, I think if there was a way to start it with less than 4, I didn't figure it out. Like I missed the prompt or something, because you share one controller and you just pass the controller around as you play. So everybody can see everybody else's cards, but that's the way that it's played in the campaign as well. So it's not particularly a big issue. You kind of just get used to it. But it's just a pass the controller mode. It's local only, but it is local versus multiplayer if you've got buddies to actually play blackjack with you on the Xbox.
Yeah. Overall, that's basically it, though. It's just it's blackjack with the Street Fighter 2 theme and skin to it. And I think it works fairly well. And the best part is it's a pretty affordable game at only $8. Yeah,
it really is. I thought it was simple. I didn't have any crashes. I didn't have any lag. When I pushed the button, it did what it was supposed to do. I'm pretty sure the dealer fucking cheats.
Oh, clearly.
Because that's blackjack, and that's what happens. But I had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to going back and finishing out the rest of the campaigns, because the stories are actually pretty goofy and enjoyable, and I kind of want to know where they go.
Cool. So your verdict for $8?
Buy it.
Cool. I was going to give it a fuck it, why not? I think it's cheap enough that even if you're on the fence about a blackjack game, if you enjoy blackjack, if you can play blackjack, fuck it, just get it. It's only $8.
Yep, I agree.
Good stuff. Well, that is it for this episode. Again, 400 of these goddamn things. What the hell is wrong with me?
Here's the 400 more, bitches.
Oh, God, I hope not. I hope I'm dead by then.
No! You're going to live forever because I've just decided that that's what happens.
Then again,
because I don't know what I would do with my Thursday nights
if people donate bits for every milestone episode I make, I will go until episode 400,000 if I have to. Bring on them biddies. Bring them all on. By episode 400,000, I will have enough money to upgrade my computer.
Nice. And then we can start on mine. No.
Oh, man. Well, again, thank you for being here, for being my co-host for all this shit. Thanks again to Kris for coming on and hanging out with us. To the guys from Runner Duck for coming on and chatting with us. This has been a fun episode, even though I've been exhausted.
We're old and we're tired, but we're going to keep doing this shit.
I'm old, I'm tired, and I'm going the fuck to bed.
Yep. No, we're going to go play Rocket League. You said so.
Okay. I'm old, I'm tired, and I'm gonna go play some fucking Rocket League.